I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago.
And welcome to the Mind Your Movies podcast. I'm Ryan,
I'm Shane.
and today we're talking about movies with budgets over $100 million. These are huge paycheck movies. We've got two crazy picks here to talk about. For this one, I picked Tenet, the Christopher Nolan movie from 2020. Um,
And
and
I picked Speed Racer, the Wachowskis' insane follow-up to The Matrix. 2008 Speed Racer. So the episode is called Speed Race Senate. Rolls right off the tongue. So we're going to talk about Speed Racer first. We are going to get into full spoilers for both movies, so beware. But before we talk about those movies, we're gonna recommend or maybe warn you to stay away from some things we've seen recently. So, Ryan, do you want to kick it off?
sure. I'll start with the 28 years later, the Bone Temple movie.
You got boned.
I got uh I did watch that. That's crazy. That's wow. My first pick and you're all right, yeah. I got boned.
Ryan got boned a couple weeks ago. Was it opening night when you got boned?
No. I saw it pretty late. Actually, I didn't know if I was gonna end up seeing it in theaters because I kind of missed it when it was first in. And then, but then there was like this period where there wasn't a whole lot going on in theaters for me. So I was like, might as well just go watch it. And I didn't really have the best expectations. Um, Not that I thought it'd be bad, but I thought maybe it'd be mid or good, but not really like blow
Did
my
you
socks off.
did we talk about 28 years later on the podcast much? I don't
No,
really know what
no.
you thought about it.
Yeah,
First
28.
one.
Yeah, the first one I kind of thought, it was good, but it wasn't like uh as maybe as much as I was expecting, right? Like
Mhm.
it was good, but not quite. I think I just went in with such lofty expectations. And it didn't quite meet those for me. What did you think of the first one?
I really liked the first one. It was
Yeah.
kind of like a mixed bag, kind of chaotic movie, but most of it really worked for me. The very end, literally the final scene of the first one was kind of weird and out of place. So then I was a little bit like, what is the tone going to be for the second one? I don't know. And I still haven't seen the second one, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I think overall, like I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was a good movie, but I just wasn't as blown away as I kind of wanted to be. But
Yeah,
this one,
I would definitely say the first one is not as good as 28 Days Later, but better than 28
oh yeah,
weeks later.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is, it's also funny that the series up until 28 years, it was like you had a very low bar to be better than the worst of it. 28 weeks was pretty bad. And then you have like
Yeah.
a pretty high bar to get better than 28 days. I mean,
Yeah.
very dichotomous in that rating there. But 28 years later, the Bone Temple was pretty awesome. It kind of did blow my socks away. Um,
Whoa. You got
I
boned so hard your socks blew off? That's
yes, that's right.
crazy.
That's right. It
Nia
was
DaCosta boned you real hard, man. That's crazy. Ray
oh man.
Fiennes.
Uh
It was
um
probably the zombie. What's his name in the movie? The one with the giant hog. Samson? Is he Samson? That's what they call him?
Samson, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Samson.
Um
I wouldn't want to get boned by him.
this guy. This guy.
It's called the Bone Temple. I mean, come on.
Anyways, great movie. Highly recommend. I think it's a great follow-up to the last one. I was kind of nervous too because I didn't love the ending of the first one, like you said too. The tone was kind of weird. I was like, I hope that's not what the second one's like. This one's definitely uh I don't know, whatever. It's kind of all over the place again, but I mean, there's a scene in this movie that I hope I don't forget anytime soon. It was awesome.
All right. Nice. Uh, I saw a movie in theaters. I saw All You Need Is Kill, the animated movie based on the same book that was adapted for the movie Edge of Tomorrow, starring Tom Cruise like 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. Uh, and yeah, this movie is like 82 minutes long. It's animated. It's Japanese. I watched the dub. It was the only time that worked, so I had to go for the dub. The dub was honestly very good. It was not bad at all. And I really liked it. The animation's a little uh it's pretty unique, I think, like the character design and the way everything looks. Um and yeah, it's only 82 minutes long. It doesn't really overstay its welcome. I cared about the characters, very much enjoyed it. And All You Need Is Kill, like
You got killed.
badass title. I got I
You got killed. You got needed.
I got needed. I yeah. I, sure.
Got him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, it was a good movie. I liked it. Also, if you look, it has a really cool poster. So there you
Yeah.
go. But yeah, the
Um,
movie was good. I really liked it. It's probably not in theaters anymore. It wasn't like a wide release. But I'm sure it'll be streaming relatively soon, and I would recommend it for sure. So
nice.
it's a
Um,
cool sci-fi time loop is the thing. It's like main character is stuck in a time loop, and there's like sci-fi aliens have like landed on Earth. They don't really know what's going on, and then whenever she dies, goes back to the beginning of the day. So sort of like Groundhog Day meets like Independence Day or something.
whoa. That would be a sick blurb on the cover of the
Yeah,
Blu-ray
it's
when you get
different.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Groundhog Day meets Independence Day meets like Akira or something.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Pretty cool.
What an
Pretty cool.
insane combination. Um, well, I'll throw in the next thing I'll talk about is Lake Mungo Revisited, which is the like
You got
behemoth.
mungoed?
I got mungoed. This is like the behemoth of documentaries about a fake documentary. So Lake Mungo, which if you haven't seen, I would strongly recommend Lake Mungo just to watch the movie itself. It's a really great movie. It's a like fake documentary. It's an Australian movie that centers around like exploring how a family copes with uh, finding that the daughter slash sister of the family died from drowning, and so it's this like fake documentary following all of them and how they cope with it, and it's a really interesting exploration of like grief and all that stuff, and really great. Also a little supernaturally, right? It's like a horror movie is the idea, but
Found footage, right?
yeah. Um, really cool. Some really awesome. Again, could not recommend that movie enough. I recommend it so much that I'm also recommending a 3 hours and 45-minute long documentary about the movie.
Oh my gosh, you really got mungoed.
Yeah, I
Holy
got
cow, that's a lot of mungo.
really mungo
Oh
here.
my gosh.
Yeah. So if you know me, you know that that is not something I would normally do.
No,
Sit
if
down for
normally
almost
normally you're like, oh wait, it's 92 minutes. That's 2 minutes too long. Cut that
exactly.
down.
Yeah, yeah. We really could have shaved a minute or so off the credits there, you know.
Oh my gosh. 3 hours, 45 minutes. Insane. So
Yeah.
is it on like Shutter or is it on YouTube or anything like that? Or
Um,
did you didn't see it? Is this new?
this is new. It came out technically last year, but it's in a box set that I got for the movie.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure. It's right now. I can say that I know it's available on Umbrella's like physical release of the movie.
Right.
I'm not sure how else you can watch it right now, but I'm sure that this will get a bigger release soon because it only like pretty much just came out.
Gotcha. Oh, that's
So
cool.
not like a theatrical release, obviously, but it'll probably be on Shutter or
Yeah.
something.
Right. That's cool.
And yeah, really cool documentary. But I guess my main recommendation here is watch Lake Mungo. Get
Nice.
mungoed.
Get mungoed. Yeah. I'm sure at some point we'll probably pick a topic and I'll have to get mungoed at some point.
Yes.
Realistically, I'm never gonna watch Lake Mungo unless you choose it for the podcast. Because you're like, oh, it's a found footage movie about a dead child. It's like, oh no, thanks. Nah, I'm good. There's almost nothing I'd rather. I'd rather
Coward.
let me just put on Paranormal Activity 3 again. I'd rather do that. Um,
Uh,
there's just a lot of movies. There's just a lot of. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it is,
yeah.
but it's just there's a lot of movies.
Well,
Uh,
yeah.
so
Do me a favor, everyone out there. If you've stayed in Lake Mungo and you would recommend it to Shane, drop a comment so that we can all tell Shane
all
how
right.
great it is.
Yeah,
But
tell me to mungo fuck myself. Uh, um, yeah. So, all you need is kill. I went to it was playing at the Providence Place Mall in Providence, Rhode Island. So that's where I saw it. It's actually now Apple Cinemas, which is unrelated to Apple, the company that makes phones and all that stuff. Uh, it is a different company called Apple that just bought the showcase that was there. So, but regardless, it's at the Providence Place Mall. And there's a movie that just came out on Netflix, or well, it played in theaters last year, and it just arrived on Netflix a few days ago. It's called Secret Mall Apartment. It's a documentary about the Providence Place Mall, about these basically the mall's construction and the like gentrification and stuff that happened that kind of displaced some art like students and artists that lived or were in that area, and how they sort of rebelled by finding a little niche in the architecture where there was just a concrete room in the mall, and they could sneak in, and they sort of created their own apartment heat there. So you learn about the creation of that, which is pretty cool to see, and you learn about all the people who were involved. All they're pretty much all artists, and they were using it as sort of like a hub for their different artistic endeavors, and it was really good. Obviously, I'm biased. I've been to the Province Place Mall a bunch of times. I was basically the Rick Dalton like meme the whole movie. I was like, oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. I've been there. Yeah. So uh but yeah, so it was overall a very, very good documentary, very well made and like watchable. You could watch this with anyone. It's not the most like challenging filmmaking or anything like that. Pretty standard talking heads and archival footage and stuff like that. But I found it really interesting, and probably my favorite part was learning about the other artistic endeavors that the artists living there like worked on. A lot of that stuff was really cool to learn about. So yeah, most of this was in it was in like the early 2000s this all happened. So yeah, it's like a cool little niche documentary, but I feel like it actually has kind of a wide appeal. Like anyone who's interested in art, and even just people who are, I don't know, kind of curious about any of that stuff. If that sounds interesting, I would definitely
Yeah.
recommend it. It's called Secret Mall Apartment. It's on Netflix now. Check it out.
Yeah, I got to see this one in the Somerville Theater up in Boston with uh Jeremy Workman and um Michael
Yes,
uh Towns. Nope,
I think maybe
Townsend.
Townsend. Yeah, I think
Um
he's like the main sort of
yeah, the artist.
the main artist who did most sort of led the
Yeah.
group almost.
Yeah, and the two of them were actually there in person doing like a Q&A after the show, which was cool. And yeah, it's a really cool movie. It's I like that they go into so much of the surrounding the apartment, right? It's not actually all just about this apartment. And it's amazing that
Yeah,
this group of students here, this is like in the early 2000s, not everyone necessarily had an iPhone just with a camera. It
yeah,
wasn't like this world of everyone recording everything, right? But there's actually so much archival footage they have of these
yeah.
artists just doing art and just like literally in the apartment. Like they thought so much about wanting to preserve what they were doing, which was cool. Especially
Yeah.
because some of like the art they were doing, like the apartment and a lot of the other stuff they were doing, isn't permanent, right? It's the stuff that like they knew was going to go away, so they wanted to capture it.
Yes, exactly. And like filming it was a way of preserving it for sure. So yeah, that is very cool. All the little sort of crummy looking like digital video from the early 2000s that they were taking stays in. You can see them hanging out at the mall. You see them at the movie theater itself. They're like eating popcorn and stuff like that. You see them in the food court. There's kind of an important scene in the food court, which is kind of I don't know. It's just funny that it's in a food court, I guess. It's not a funny scene, I guess, but it's a funny see that funny location that it's all in a mall, basically. And that they're filming all
Yeah.
this stuff. It's kind of crazy.
It almost feels like when you think about a found footage movie and you think like, why are they recording all this? You know, it actually almost has that same feeling at times, like in that scene specifically. Not
Yeah.
that anyone necessarily understands this reference right now, but like there are scenes when you're watching and they're just talking, right? They're not capturing art necessarily, they're just capturing life, which maybe is like a very modern thing to do today, but again, this
It's
was like not on
they're
an
all
iPhone camera, right? Like,
yeah, and this is like before YouTube, before vlogging, and they're basically vlogging. That's basically
right.
what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels very much like somebody, you put the camera down in a found footage movie, and that's how you get this. Literally, they're at like a mall, like lunch cafeteria style table or whatever, eating, talking about something really important, and it feels like this is just they had to just put the camera down to record this thing for the movie, like,
Yeah.
which is funny. It feels very, um, yeah, it's weird,
Yeah.
but good that they had all that footage.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely makes the documentary way better that you can see. And even people who are interested in malls as these sort of like relics of a past time now, like especially anyone, if
Yeah.
there are any people watching who are like 10 years younger than us, like teenagers or college age like people, like they might not have ever really experienced malls in the same way that we did or people older than us did. Like I guess these people were in their like 20s in 2000 like 5-ish, so they were older than us. But regardless, like malls were such a big like popular. Everyone, you just go to the mall. I'd be like, oh, what do you want to do? Ah, let's just go to the mall and just walk around, and like that's just what people did. And now that is completely gone. And Providence Place Mall, I mean, it's in Providence, so it is still somewhat populated, especially I think on the weekends. But like a lot of other malls, especially in the suburbs, are just like dead. Like completely what's it called? Like liminal spaces basically of just abandoned and no stores, no customers, nothing.
Yeah, the last time I was at the Emerald Square Mall, which is a much smaller mall in a suburb, right? It's like I think there might have been like 12 stores open altogether. Like it's
Yeah,
insane. It feels very, it feels surreal,
yeah,
definitely. But
yeah. So anyone who never experienced malls, there you go. You can watch this and you can kind of see what malls were like when they were popular.
yeah, kind of a time
Um,
capsule. It's cool.
yeah, for sure. Definitely a time capsule. At one point they're eating popcorn from a bag with Steven Spielberg War of the Worlds on it. So I knew I was like 2005. That's when this footage is from. But yeah.
um, nice. Well, the last one I've got to talk about is Hundreds of Beavers.
Oh
This
my
movie
gosh.
got a lot of
You
buzz.
got boned by 100 beavers this week? This is crazy.
uh,
Ryan said Mungo get boned by hundreds of beavers.
oh man. Um, this movie got it. I can't bring this guy anywhere. Um,
Uh, I mean, two of your titles are highly suggestive.
I don't think anyone else is thinking that.
Now
Um,
they now they are. Uh,
uh, Hundreds of Beavers got a lot of buzz when it came out, and lots of people saw it. Lots of people loved it, and I was excited to see it, and I never did. And I was bummed about that, and I've been wanting to watch it for a long time. And finally, I just pulled the trigger. I watched it, and it was amazing. It was not exact. Like I don't. It's hard to imagine what you were expecting before this movie. You'll never have seen something like it. Just watch it. It's amazing. It's hilarious. It's a live action cartoon, right? And
and it's a silent film too, basically, right? It
it's
came out like last year, but it's in the style of a silent film.
yeah, it's silent.
Yes.
It's black and white. It's really fascinating. There's so much stuff going on in the movie, and if you don't know, this is not a big spoiler, I don't think, but the beavers are like they're beaver suits, like like people in giant suits. All the animals are, and it's a very I'm like, this must be a very low budget production, and they do so well with what they have going on. And it really comes together with like such great effect and humor, and definitely worth watching. So if you haven't had the chance to see it yet, this one I can tell you is on Canopy. So we haven't gotten our Canopy sponsored ad in yet for this episode. So just kidding. We're not actually sponsored by Canopy, but that is a sponsor.
That'd be cool.
That's a sponsor I would take. Um,
That'd be cool.
but yeah, seriously, go
What's
sign
on
up for
Canopy?
your for Canopy at your public library if you haven't yet. Canopy is just a free streaming service. You just get a library card, you put your library card number
I
in, and you get to watch movies.
I didn't realize that it was on Canopy, so maybe I'll have to check it out. I've also
That's
been meaning to
right.
check this one out, and I have not yet.
Yes,
So,
'cause it's also on Tubi and stuff like the ads ones.
no,
And I kind of didn't want to watch this with ads because I was like,
right.
I don't mind watching some stuff with ads, whatever. But like this one, I knew it was silent, and I was like, that would just kind of be too jarring, like it'd be weird.
Yeah, it would ruin the immersion, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like ads
I
always suck, right? But
yeah, and if anyone's out there using Tubi, Tubi is cool because it's free, but at least go and see if your public library has Canopy. At least
yes,
at least try it because a lot of movies that are on Tubi are also on Canopy. Not like all of them, but a decent amount.
yeah, and if you're using Canopy instead of Tubi, Tubi's not getting that ad revenue, and you're actually supporting your libraries. And that's really where you should be putting. Not that Tubi's bad, right? I'm not against you using Tubi, but support Canopy and your local libraries when you can.
Yes, exactly. And funny enough, the other library streaming service, Hoopla, is where I watched my last movie that I wanted to mention, Wide Awake. Yeah, I watched it on Hoopla. Hoopla is basically the same as Canopy. So some libraries have both. Um, so yeah, it's called Wide Awake. M. Night Shyamalan, technically his second movie. I kind of tried to watch his first movie, but the only thing I can find of it seems like a VHS rip that is on YouTube, and it is like horrible, like 240p, really, really bad quality. And that seems to be like the only place it exists. I don't know. I don't know what's up with the rights to it. I don't know if he doesn't. I think it maybe have been like his graduate like thesis film, but it's feature length. Um, it's called Praying with Anger. I haven't seen it. I watched the first like minute and I was like, oh, this actually looks like nice. I'd kind of like to watch it not in potato quality, so I just didn't watch it. But the first couple opening shots are nice. So that's my review of Praying with Anger, the first 30 seconds of Praying with Anger. Um, but I watched Wide Awake. Very good movie. There's definitely I like M. Night Shyamalan. I'm an M. Night Shyamalan apologist. Uh, and you can definitely see a lot of his themes that run throughout his work in this very first movie. There's also definitely some studio meddling in there. And the soundtrack, there are often times where it's like really bad, like 90s, sort of trying to make it like a family friendly comedy type of a thing. And that's really not what it is. So those moments sucked. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I think it is like interesting to watch within the context of Shyamalan's career and the themes that he always returns to. It's basically about a Catholic school kid whose grandfather dies, and it's basically one school year. Uh, the story takes place, and I I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I also read M. Night Shyamalan and Nicholas Sparks' new book,
Oh, nice.
Remain, which will be turned into a movie. They've already shot it. They shot it last year. Uh, it's starring Jake Gyllenhaal, I believe. Uh, and yeah, it comes out in October. I read the book. Very good book. Enjoyed it. Have never read a Nicholas Sparks book before. Not don't know anything about Nicholas Sparks. I just know he wrote The Notebook and like a bunch of books that have been turned into romance movies that I have never seen. So that's my understanding of Nicholas Sparks. But this one I really liked. It's not the most incredible prose you've ever seen, but I really enjoyed the story. And yeah, I'm excited for the movie. I could definitely visualize aspects of it being a movie when I was reading it, and I think it'll be cool.
Nice. Sick.
Definitely, uh, I feel like it will be more of a return to like serious Shyamalan. I guess I don't know. I guess he did make some. He usually is pretty serious, but Trap was kind of like a fun, like self-aware, kind of silly tone to it. This one I think will be a little more serious, but overall I really like the book, so I'm excited for the movie. So that's my little M. Night Shyamalan corner.
Nice. Yeah, you got to get that M Night in there.
I got Shyamalan this week. I'll tell you that much.
Shane's always looking to get Shyamalan.
Yeah, I rewatched. I'm probably gonna rewatch Sixth Sense soon. I've just been in a
Nice.
Shyamalan mood, so I feel like And then, I mean, this year until Remain comes out, I'll probably rewatch some Shyamalan. Probably won't rewatch some of the lows because he has high highs and low lows throughout his career. But yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, very ambitious. So sometimes that works. Sometimes you get things where it did not work.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And he definitely went uh for I don't know. He's kind of doing his own thing again, which I like. He's back to be making like independent movies and he's not trying to make like After Earth or The Last Airbender or any like big budget studio stuff like that because that did
Yeah,
not suit him much at all.
yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've watched recently. I'm done. Time for Speed Race Tenet.
Speed Race Senate, which means
Oh
we
yeah.
start with Speed Racer. Shane, this was your pick.
This
Tell us
was
about
my
it.
pick. Oh my gosh, Speed Racer. What a bonkers, insane movie. Based on the anime, uh they've the Wachowskis really did make probably the closest thing to a live action anime you'll ever see. Um yeah, it's based on the anime, follows the titular Speed Racer, as he races pretty speedily through most of the movie. Um that's the summary, that's the plot. So yeah, we see how do I even describe the movie? There's it, it's completely insane. This is their for context, this is their follow-up to the Matrix trilogy. Obviously, the Matrix gigantic hit, and then they wanted to finish their trilogy, which was not received as well, but still, I think Reloaded and Revolutions both like made quite a lot of money, despite being disappointing in relation to the first Matrix. Um, but yeah, then they decided they wanted to make Speed Racer, this crazy comedy sports movie about a small family race team battling these corrupt corporations. Uh, there's a lot going on thematically in the movie and like uh, metatextually, I guess. Um, but yeah, basically you see Speed Racer as a kid. He can't pay attention in class. He's uh he's got restless leg syndrome. He's
Yeah. Fills
he's
in the Scantron, so it says "Go Rex Go," which is his brother's name.
Yes, Rex's older brother, exactly. Yeah, and all he wants to do is race. And then we see a bunch of races, and yeah, I mean, we don't have to go over the whole plot in the summary, but yeah, we see some crazy races. Yeah, this movie has some of the most insane style. I don't think anything looks like it. The colors are just bright and like saturation is like cranked to 1,000. And the transitions, the fades where we
Oh
have
yeah.
people wiping across the screen and we're cutting to a new shot behind them and people are going all over the place. The cars are flipping. Everything's all over the place. That's the movie.
That's the movie. Yeah, it's interesting the way that the transitions work. Kind of echo this idea of like only somewhat linear storytelling that's like really emphasized at the beginning when you
Yep.
have this Speed Racer flashbacks, right? You have he's seeing, well, we see flashbacks from him and then from another character, and then like it essentially zooms in on all the characters during this first race, and you see flashbacks of how that, like a little bit of exposition about that character, which is kind of a funny way to do it. Um, and then also though he's racing against the ghost of his brother, and so there's a lot of
To get the track record.
right. And so you're getting a lot of exposition told in this very nonlinear way in this first race, which is an interesting and if not maybe confusing the first time way to do it. That I think that nonlinearity kind of echoes in when you see those transitions because sometimes the transition is just transition, but sometimes it's kind of like it like implying that there was time in between, like and sometimes you see behind the person, you're seeing they're like sliding their faces like sliding across the screen as part of the transition, but behind them you're actually seeing some sort of a recreation of what they're talking about or something, kind of like a flashback or something, right? um
Yeah.
so there's the way they play those transitions is really cool and really interesting. I thought it was a really neat thing to see, even if I thought visually I didn't actually love that effect all the time, but I thought I
Mm.
could see what they were going for why they were using them, I think. Maybe.
I get that. Yeah, yeah, it is very all over the place. And I I do think this movie is like ADHD in a movie. And I
Yeah.
think it's like kind of in the text where like Speed Racer might have ADHD or something. Like when he's a kid, the way he's acting like seems like it could be consistent with that. And then they have this movie where this would appeal. Speed Racer, the kid would love this movie. This would be
Yeah.
his favorite movie. Um,
It would be all he
but
could think about while he's taking a test.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, did you this was my second time seeing the movie. I think
Yeah.
I liked it more this time than the first time because I knew what to expect. It's still a deeply flawed movie in some ways, but I just think it's pretty exciting and fun throughout the whole thing. And just going into it with that expectation of it being kind of silly and fun for the most part is definitely the right way to go into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not seen this before. Although I've seen some bits of the 1990s revival of the original show. I looked into it a little bit because I had remembered when we talked about it
Hmm,
that I had seen some media of Speed Racer before, and
hmm,
it turns out it's so the original show is from the 60s, but then in the 90s, I guess like rights got shifted over a little bit and it got essentially revived in America, particularly with slightly different music, slightly different dubbing and stuff. I don't know, whatever. And there was also an American remake or like uh spin-off, I guess, that happened at the same time too. So I saw something in that area of things when I was a kid. But this is my first time seeing the movie, and it's insane. I had no idea what to I well actually I guess I expected something more tame. I did not expect this.
I told you it'd be insane.
Yeah. And I knew, this has, I think, quite a reputation of that insanity. And I did not still expect quite what I was seeing on
The thing
screen.
is, you can't know what to expect until you've seen it because nothing else is quite like it. So you can't expect it to be like something you've never seen.
Right. But it definitely is a live action anime if there ever has been, right? Like, I think this movie is getting kind of it has a cult following and it kind of seems like it's getting a revival today in terms of people are liking it, right? Which is cool. I think it's being
Yeah.
like refound. Um, and I think that's cool. And I think that maybe makes sense with like uh people always like I feel like we all kind of want more stuff going on in front of us.
Mm.
I'm generalizing that, but I think like that is kind of the general trend of people right now, right? Yeah, you get subway surfers on the bottom of your TikToks, and
Yeah.
this
There needs to
movie,
be, yeah,
this movie
short attention
might
span.
be the um the embodiment of having subway surfers on the bottom of your TikTok in a movie.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, definitely. If you have a short attention span, this movie's great because
Yeah,
there's dialogue overlapping with each other and scenes and yeah, it's there's always a lot going on.
yeah, visually, auditorily, whatever. Like there's
Yes.
there's a lot, and I think for me that was somewhat overwhelming.
Mm.
And I ultimately, I'll say that I thought parts of the movie were interesting. I thought the movie itself was wholly ambitious, um, which can be a compliment. But I also don't think it was really for me, at least not this time.
That's fair. I thought there was a strong chance you wouldn't like Speed Racer, but I said, you know what? You have to watch Speed
You
Racer.
gotta. I'll tell you what. I've never seen anything like it. I'm glad I watched it. There's a few movies that we talked about in the past few months. There's uh Enter the Void, Gaspar Noé's
Oh
Enter the
yeah.
Void. There's the Wolf House, the stop one of our stop motion picks that we did a few months ago. And those two movies I often think of as like movies that I've never seen anything quite like. And this
Mm.
definitely falls into that realm now, which is I loved the Wolf House. I did not quite like Enter the Void as much as that. Obviously, I think I kind of didn't love it very much, but this one I think definitely falls into that latter half. But just having another movie in a bucket of things you'll never see anything like is fascinating.
Yeah, that's why I figured it'd be good. It'd be worth talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's okay if you didn't like it. That's all
yeah.
right.
But I did. I
The
mean, I liked some things about it that we can talk about too. But yeah,
did you like Chim Chim?
I didn't understand what the point of having the monkey was.
The point. He's the best character in the movie.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. He's Chim Chim.
Although there is a whole part on the Wikipedia for this movie
I
about,
did.
yeah, about
I saw
Amul.
that
Yeah. So I
Chim Chim
don't
was
like
apparently
that.
not treated well. Apparently, Chim Chim bit someone, and then the trainer hit Chim Chim, which, and then
While the Animal American Humane Association person was like there, right? So
right.
like,
So, which you could presume that that was not an uncommon thing for them to do, probably to
yeah,
hit the act. I'm calling him Chim Chim. I think that there was two monkeys who played
yeah,
Chim Chim. I think one was named Willie. I forget the name of the other one.
yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, it is definitely kind of we probably shouldn't have chimpanzees in our movies. That's probably a good idea
Almost
to
nothing in
not
this
do that.
movie was real. This entire almost this entire movie is computer generated, and
That's
you
such a
decided to
great
use a
point. They
real
couldn't
monkey. They
That is such a great point. They couldn't shoot in a neighborhood, but they could get a real monkey. They couldn't there might not be a single thing on location. I think the whole movie's in front of green screens.
yeah, that's what I've
Literally
read.
every single shot, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's what Wikipedia says.
I mean, or it's just an interior on a set.
Right.
So they, but that's yeah, that's hilarious. That literally nothing else in the movie is real except the monkey, and it's like that's the last thing you'd want to be
Yeah.
real in the movie.
Right. Which, like, to be fair, like, not just because animal trainers might abuse that animal, that sucks and is not cool and should not happen.
But
But
also the
also, it's a monkey. That thing could be dangerous.
chimpanzees can be extremely dangerous.
Like,
So
yeah, there's lots of stories about like people that have these things that have chimpanzees as pets that you obviously are not supposed to have as
face ripped
pet.
off
Yeah, and also,
infamously.
have you not seen Primate yet? Come on.
That oh man, watch I didn't see Primate. So
Yeah.
that completely colored your opinion of the chimp in the
Well,
movie. You watch it and you're like, this monkey's about to go primate. And I'm watching it, I'm like, I love Chim Chim.
well, but also in Primate, the monkey. I actually had to look it up because I was confused on how they did the monkey so well there. Right, it looks really good, and the motions incredible. It's actually all practical effects, which is insane. There's no live monkey, and there's also not a lot of CGI in it. Um, and I had to like dive into a little rabbit hole of that. If anyone's seen Primate, look into a little bit about how they actually, even if you haven't, you can look into it. I kind of forget, so I'm not going to try to explain it, but they had some cool stuff going on in terms of the practical effects. And I was shocked they didn't have a real monkey because I was kind of concerned they did because that movie's fucked up. I was like, oh my, this monkey's going to be traumatized and we're actually going to go primate now. Um, but also, it didn't feel like there was a lot of computer
Yeah.
generated stuff. So if there was, I was going to be impressed. But I mean, more impressed that it was all practical. It was great. But anyways,
Interesting.
but so I think that maybe colors my opinion just in the sense that like obviously this is almost 20 years later, but like I'm amazed there's nothing real in this movie other than a monkey. Come on.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. Great point. Great point. Great
A
point.
little bit of a rant there, but
Uh yeah, I will say definitely do you know who the cinematographer is for this movie? His
um
his name
no.
is David Tattersall, and he was also the cinematographer for not one, not two, but all three Star Wars prequels. And if that doesn't make the most sense in the world, you haven't seen those
Wow.
movies because that just
Dude,
makes so much sense, doesn't it?
this guy can film a green screen behind people like it's nothing.
Yeah, he like the. I mean, I will say he also was a cinematographer for The Green Mile and Con Air. So
Yeah, I'm not
kind of
actually
cool.
making fun of you if you're out there, dude, listening to us,
Shout out to David
but that does
Tattersall.
make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and then a bunch of movies that I have not seen. But yeah, like this movie feels like a continuation of the style of the Star Wars prequels. Everything being in front of a green screen. Chim Chim and the little brother are almost the Jar Jar of this movie. Also, Chim Chim, Jar Jar. I mean, come on. Uh, and they're like kind of like awkward comedic relief that to appeal to kids that like doesn't really work, but at least I find Chim Chim and the Kid more charming than Jar Jar. Jar Jar is more annoying, in my opinion. Um, except for at the very end of the movie, Chim Chim and the Kid, like, I don't know why they did that. That annoyed me.
Yeah, they just intro. There's the final.
Spoiler alert.
They're about to. Yeah, whatever. Well, watch
They're
the
gonna
movie if you
kiss.
haven't. Yeah, they're about to kiss. Chim Chim and the Kid, right? Obviously, are about to kiss it. No.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Trixie,
turns into something real fucked up at the end.
Speed Racer and Trixie are about to kiss, and it gets paused. Literally, the movie's paused because we get a little interrupt.
Yeah, they're like,
Ugh.
well, watch out if you have cootie allergy or something like that.
Oh
Oh,
man. Oh
horrible.
boo.
Terrible, terrible. I think that was a strong reason I didn't like the movie the first time when that
And it's
moment
right at the
happened.
end too.
Is right
Yeah.
at the end, so it's like the last thing you remember. Uh, so yeah, that is a super annoying.
I can be honest here. I'm very susceptible to endings of movies heavily, like more heavily influencing my ratings than maybe they should, right? I mean, I
Mm,
think it sticks with me a little bit more. Um and yeah, I definitely agree. I'm like I just you can't just you can't just
yeah,
keep the movie playing.
and
Like
and the end of the movie I feel like actually is like awesome. Like that final race is great. And I feel like it just showed, I don't know if it was the Wachowskis, if it's the studio, who knows, but I feel like they just didn't have confidence in the movie, and that just showed them because they're undercutting literally the climactic moment of the entire movie. Like, what are you doing? That's one of the dumbest things I've maybe ever seen in a movie. Like to make an
yeah.
entire movie and then just like fuck it up with just a stupid decision right at the end. Like whoever made that decision, I feel like it was the studio. Like, go fuck yourself. I'll just say it. I'll say it. Go fuck yourself. What are you doing? You spend like over $100 million on this movie. You let the Wachowskis make this completely insane thing. And guess what? It kind of works at the end. You care about Speed Racer and Trixie. You want them to beat this evil corporation, and they're finally going to have their moment. And you undercut it with Chim Chim and the kid? Terrible. Absolutely
Yeah.
terrible. But I don't want that to take away from how awesome the final race is, you know?
Yeah.
And
Um
Chim Chim and the Kid, I feel like are actually likable for most of the movie. They're I laugh. They really like candy. They like
yeah, that
watching racing. They make funny faces. I like it.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't like them. It's just like, dude, I like they wake up on they sneak into the private jet and they wake up on the floor surrounded by candy. And that's probably the only part where I was like, okay. Other than that, I pretty much the entire time I was like, these guys really don't need to be here. And even that, I was like, this is stupid, but also I kind of think it's funny. They're just waking. They're surrounded by candy wrappers. We've all
Yeah.
been there, waking up on the floor of a private jet, surrounded with candy wrappers. The guy's about to come in and clean it up. You have to figure out how to hide and everything. I mean, come on,
Classic.
every Tuesday.
Classic. Yeah, and also he does interrupt a kiss earlier in the movie when they're on their date and they're
Oh
talking
yeah.
about all that stuff and they're about to kiss and he's in the trunk. He's hidden in the trunk
Oh
and
man.
he interrupts the kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the trunk, and he's like, "It wasn't my idea," and then he points at the chimp, and yeah.
Yeah. And funny enough, the do you know the name of the kid?
Uh, Wait, hold on. In the movie?
Spritel, yeah, in the
Yes,
movie,
yeah,
Spritel Racer. I love
yes,
that it's his name is Speed Racer. That's
yeah.
their
And the dad is Pop Racer,
yeah,
Pops
Pops
Racer.
Racer, Mom Racer.
The bad guy is literally called Mr. Royalton, like
Yeah,
he's royal. Like,
yep, yeah.
um, yeah,
This is the least subtle movie you could ever imagine. This is
yes.
whatever is the opposite of subtlety. That's this movie. But
Yeah.
I like it. Like I don't know, it's flawed and like kind of bad. Like the green screens when they're like in the neighborhood, some of the worst things you'll ever see.
Oh my, it's like Cat in the Hat level.
Yeah, it looks like maybe like a PS1 game that's been ported to the PS2. Like a PS one and a
Yeah,
half
with a
game.
corrupted file. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a corrupted Chim Chim corrupted the files. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely has
It looks like the music video for All Star a little bit.
yeah, oh yeah, that's true. I mean, that's actually like that whole time frame does have stuff like like Spy Kids 3, right?
Oh,
I,
yes.
I thought about that movie a lot during this. Um,
Interesting. Good
even
call.
even in a way, do you remember the hand guys? The guys that
Yes,
were
the oh
hands?
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I'm like, that is like the weird shit that like this movie is kind of, it's trying to be like experimental and avant-garde and stuff like that. And that those hand
Yeah.
things, I want those in the movie. I would be into this movie if in one of the racing cars there's just a hand, just a giant fucking hand just sitting there. Anyways, I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I like how
The
all the racers have like their gimmick. Like there's a
yeah,
snake guy and like
the
I don't
army
know.
guys.
Yeah, the army guys. Yeah, that seems really cool. Oh man, the races are so well done. I will say, like, we start the movie, the first like 15 minutes of the movie are like pretty incredible, I think. Like we're jumping forward and backward in time. We're getting Speed Racer's
Yeah,
like upbringing. We're learning about all the characters. We have this opening race. He's fighting for the record, and he sees the ghost of his brother, or whatever, the I guess the ghost of his brother, not literal ghost, but whatever. He sees his brother, almost like in a video game when you're racing against the like ghost car
yeah,
to like get the
yes,
record.
right.
And and then he sees him and he cries one tear and he lets him keep the record.
Yeah,
What
that
a
was amazing.
great way to start a movie. And then we get into, I mean, first of all, the really bad green screens and
Oh,
stuff at the home. The home is insane. All just the brightest color you could ever imagine. Like it's crazy. And there's a lot of like talking for like
yes.
maybe like 45 minutes. And you like royalty, he won the race. He's so people want to sign him, take him away from the dad, who's like an independent car team. And we see his like operation, which is also insane with all these like just the just I don't even know how to describe it. The green screens, it's just crazy. It's complete
Yeah,
craziness. But there's a lot of just talking and exposition to explain. Like we kind of get, okay, yeah, this guy's evil. Like I
yeah.
get it.
Oh my God, there's the whole spiel. Like he goes on the big speech where he literally just says that like corrupt, like he's just literally talking about corruption the entire time.
Yeah, that all the races are rigged and stuff like that. I didn't mind that. It was just I felt like this whole sequence, there was just so much of it, and it kind of like ground to not didn't grind to a halt because the whole movie is so crazy and like colorful and everything that I feel like it is pretty well paced. But for a 2 hour, 15-minute movie, that's kind of a long stretch of it being not that interesting. Also very prequel like to be like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, like Duel of the Fates, the coolest music you could ever imagine, and like guys are flipping around and this is cool. And then it's like, oh, the Senate says blah 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 blah, the trade routes and the
Yeah.
tariffs and it's kind of like boring for like 45 minutes or something. And then yeah. Also an
Yeah.
annoying kid.
Yes, I did actually think of the prequels during this movie when they were walking around the factory because I was thinking of both the droid factory in Attack of the Clones and also um uh, uh there's so many shots, honestly just in all the movies, but I'm thinking specifically on like Camino, when Obi-Wan is there talking to the people, and and they're just walking and talking, and they're like walking through this factory, and sometimes you'll see something in the background, but they're pretty much just walking and talking. And this whole sequence just made me think of that part of the prequels where you just get so much walking and talking, like an exhausting
Yes.
amount of walking and talking.
Yeah, I get that. That's very fair. I liked how the city looked though. It was completely mad, complete madness.
Yes, yeah, the city looked pretty crazy. Like
Yeah.
I'm so mixed on this movie because there are things where I'm like, this is kind of insane and I'm in it, right? And then there's a
Yeah.
lot of times where I'm like, all right, I am clocked out.
Yeah, like it's bad but also enjoyable.
Yeah,
That's how I found most of the movie. But the thing is that there are moments that I'm like, this is like good, I think, but it's also bad. It's like good and bad
yeah.
at the same time. Very strange. Actually, kind
Also,
of the same with Tenet. Both these movies are kind of good and bad at the same time and at different times. Very, very varying. But
yeah,
anyway, yeah,
this movie. So also, this movie's PG. Um,
makes sense. Yeah, I feel like the studio definitely wanted it to be family friendly.
yeah, and also, do you remember the scene? Not that this doesn't happen in PG movies, but the reason I know it's PG is because I checked when there was that scene where they're uh torturing the guy and about to put his hand in the piranha tank.
Right.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, holy crap! But it is PG, and that's like, I think that stuff happens sometimes in PG movies. But I was like, whoa, that Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that whole subplot with uh uh Taijo, I think is his name, or yeah, played by Rain.
Yeah,
Uh yeah, Taijo. And like the mob or whatever that was supposed to be. And like they're very silly. They have literally like Tommy guns and they're dressed like 1920s like gangsters.
yeah,
It's kind of funny. But I don't know. That whole subplot kind of feels unnecessary for the most part, I think.
yeah. Listen, I watched a 3 hour and 45 minute documentary about a fake documentary, and this movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm gonna say it, it was too long.
Yeah, it
Come
felt too
on,
long.
there's a lot of stuff in
I
this movie.
I liked the I don't know, it was interesting. Like the main Royalton villain was very effective in me hating
Yes,
him and him being like a smarmy. Obviously it's cartoonish. The whole movie is cartoonish. That's the whole entire thing. Like also this movie like it's you need to meet it where it is. Like this is
yeah,
not necessarily the type of movie that
right,
would normally appeal to me, but meeting it where it is, I'm able to appreciate like aspects of it.
definitely.
Um, so yeah,
Um,
that villain worked, but I felt like the like mob guys villains were very silly and it just I just didn't care about them basically.
I agree. Also, so Roger Allman, who played that main Royalton guy, uh, I liked his performance so much. I actually thought that he gave kind of Tim Curry vibes at times, kind of the crazy, like very loud, kind of bombastic. Like I was thinking of Tim Curry's hotel character in Home Alone 2,
Oh
where he's
yeah.
just like kind of over the top bombastic, but like not but kind of subtly grounded in reality. Because this character was like over the top in terms of being like a total scumbag, but wasn't like as cartoonish as some of Tim Curry's other characters, maybe.
Yes, and he kind of looks like Tim Curry.
Yeah, right. Like not a ton, but like I can see
I see
something
the
going on there.
resemblance. I see the resemblance. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, this movie also has like a weirdly stacked cast. I mean,
Yeah.
like John Goodman, Susan Sarandon, Christina Ricci, probably at like her most popular.
Mm-hmm.
I'd think. And then like Hiroyuki Sanada is in it. Richard Roundtree plays Ben Burns, who's in the old racer who was in the rigged race that disillusions Speed Racer. Um, but yeah, I I don't know. I thought they were all really good. John Goodman, powerful mustache.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Also, John Goodman just, I mean, like he's amazing in all of his movies. But can we just acknowledge the ninja scene real quick?
Oh
Because
yeah.
oh my god, what is the line he says? Was that a ninja? And he goes more like nanja. It's
More like a
terrible what
Nanja.
counts terrible what they pass for a ninja nowadays. It's like and he had just like literally held him over his head and spun him like a cartoon character for like a whole minute,
Yeah.
and then
Uh,
threw him out the window by putting him on a table and then kicking the table through a door or something. Um,
yeah, yeah. He
Crazy.
sends
Oh
him off the
man.
balcony.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Into the city. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
Goodman's character here might have been my favorite part of the movie, which is probably not surprising. I mean, he's awesome
yeah,
as an
yeah.
actor.
Yes, he is awesome. Uh, Emil Hirsch as Speed Racer. I don't know. I don't know about like Emil Hirsch. I feel like this was the time they were kind of like trying to make him like a leading man, maybe, and it never really like took off. But I feel like he's fine as Speed Racer.
Yeah, he does fine. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny looking at because this movie had apparently been like in development hell since like the 90s, and there was like all sorts of different people, you know, positioned,
Oh,
not necessarily with the Wachowskis
right.
behind it, but all sorts of people. Like I think at one point Johnny Depp was in the talks of being in the movie, and all sorts of
Whoa.
people were like in talks of being in the
Angsty teen
movie.
racer or speed
Yeah.
racer. Yeah.
And reading through like the crazy number of different like uh, amazing people that could have been in the movie. Not that that would have necessarily changed my view on the movie at all, but it was funny to uh, you know, I thought he did fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who at that time. I mean, this is 2008. Like who at that time would have been ideal for this role? And like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he does a good job actually.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. Yeah,
It's a weird, the whole movie has a weird tone. But so he plays it pretty straight, I feel like. But I don't know, like I feel like it's just hard for an actor to fit into this movie.
also to act in this movie because you're pretty
Yeah.
much acting to the green screen the whole time, right? Like
Yeah, true.
there's a lot of times where they're in the cars and they're like something will happen and they're reacting, and I was kind of like that reaction might have felt different if they were actually reacting to something actually happening. But
Yeah. There are, it's just funny at the very beginning, they have to show you that when the cars crash, the bubbles come up and
yeah,
encase them so none of them die. And then throughout the whole movie, cars are just like flying all over the place, exploding. We don't see any people. We don't see any bubbles, if not as far as I could tell. But they
yeah,
just tell you at the beginning, they're like, well, they get bubbled, they're fine. Don't worry about it. This can still be PG. The drivers are not dying. Even though driver dying is like a crucial part of the movie, like with his brother. But
yeah,
yeah. Uh I think the most interesting part of the movie probably is the like themes of this corporate, like especially with the Wachowskis in Hollywood, they made Bound, like a small independent movie, and then The Matrix is obviously bigger but became such a gigantic success, like landmark cultural moment. Uh and they made the sequels and now they're kind of in the Hollywood machine. And I feel like there's definitely a parallel with filmmaking here going on with racing in the movie and this huge corporation with all this money and resources, but they're gonna kind of like steal your soul basically. And I feel like the Wachowskis in this movie itself, they're kind of trying to keep their independence and their like unique vision within like a huge Hollywood machine that ironically will like put a kid ruining the climax of your movie into the movie type stuff. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's like this movie is made by Royalton and they're signed by Royalton and they just like they're like, all right, well, this is what we're doing. Like but yeah,
yeah,
definitely trying to keep maintain an artist trying to maintain his independence. I mean, at one point, Susan Sarandon, who's mom racer, like explains how his racing is like art to her. So I think that's definitely kind of the most interesting part of the movie. And I like that they really, it feels to me like they are able to maintain their independence and their artistic vision, even through like some of the bumps in the road.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I do think it's a little ironic considering this the movie had something like 5,000, I guess, related products to the movie, kind of to help advertise for it, and like
Mm,
tied with like tons of different corporations like McDonald's and Walmart and huge things. And ironic considering the like, you know, the anti-capitalist, anti-corporation, corporations
yeah,
trying to control us messages, because it's like all these 5,000 different products you could buy with Speed Racer on them are actually just this Warner Brothers uh company trying to tell you to go see this fucking movie, right? And it's like
yeah.
they're literally trying to control you to go see a movie about how we shouldn't let them control us. So they didn't, I don't think they I don't think they understood.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's very ironic. And in the movie, like there is that so much of that messaging. Like at one
Oh
point
yeah.
there, I think I think it's after I don't remember exactly the context, but they're reading the newspaper. Sparky is reading the newspaper, and there's a bunch of negative press about some, maybe it's about Rex or I don't remember. And it's sort of the beginning of the movie. And Pops Racer says, Well, that's because the sponsors control the media, Sparky. And it's like, oh yeah, that's also like in real life, obviously. Like, I mean, look at the way Sinners was covered in all these publications, and where Sinners is this movie that's gonna the rights are gonna revert back to Ryan Coogler, and like they just for whatever reason, the powers that be did not want to admit that movie was powerful, or the way that movies like not I'm talking about the context of movies, but this really applies to everything. It
Yeah.
applies to everything in politics, the world, everything, where the media just controls the narrative and whatever and they're all owned by like five people. And they'll just control whatever narrative they want. And in the movie, they when they talk about all the races being rigged,
Right.
Royalton talks about the five like owners, major owners in racing, and that parallels the five Hollywood studios, the five major studios in back in the day in Hollywood. Obviously now they're like consolidating into one world power basically. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, there's another parallel with Hollywood, I think. But yeah, just I think it's easy to root for Speed Racer and his family. They're the underdogs against the most evil corporations who only care about money. I mean, he literally does say that. Like, it's like, yeah, my God is the stock market, basically. And
Yeah.
if
This
it
is my
works out,
religion.
yeah, this is my religion is just making money.
Yeah.
And Speed says, maybe Pops is right. You are the devil. Like, so the anti-corporate messaging is so blatant. It's cool. I love it. I think it's great. And it is definitely ironic that it's within this big, this is our big budget movies episode. That's the whole topic. So to get all that messaging into this big Hollywood movie is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And again, ironic that the company tried so hard to promote this thing. That's telling us not to let the companies control us.
Yeah.
But they made so many products and different crap that you could buy that I'm sure is just in landfills nowadays. But
A lot of Chim Chim action figures, probably.
yeah, yeah, lots of little fighting gloves so that you can just punch a monkey. Man,
Animal abuse,
yeah,
like the Hulk glove.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, fuck that. That's crazy though.
Oh yeah, also
Um,
at one point Spritle flips off he gives him the finger to
yeah,
Royalton. Yeah, PG.
yep,
There you go. They push the boundaries.
yeah. They did a little bit, right? I mean, you've got a big gunfight. You've got
Yeah.
well, I guess that's I don't know, whatever. I feel like comic book movies sometimes get away with like big gunfights in
Well,
PG.
those are all PG-13 though, pretty much,
Yeah, all right. I don't know. You're probably
right?
right. I don't really keep track of PG versus PG-13 anymore.
At
It's been a
least
long time since I've had to worry about if I
yeah,
need
that's
my
fair.
parents.
I think like pretty much all the Marvel movies are PG-13, I
I was
think.
thinking more of like the OG like animated like Batman.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
Some of them probably are PG-13, yeah.
No, some of them are
Maybe
probably PG though. They're definitely
yeah.
They're definitely kids cartoons with like almost basically the cartoonish mob villains in this movie just directly in a cartoon. Like
Right, exactly. Which this movie like really is like pretty much an animated movie, right? I mean, not only in
yeah.
terms of style, right? It's like trying to feel like that. It's trying to feel like an anime. But also again just in how much of the movies actually is animated versus live action.
Yeah, yeah, it is literally mostly animated. Yeah.
Yeah, if you like removed like a dozen whatever more than that, but you removed all the actors in this and just animated those roles, the whole movie, you wouldn't have to change anything else in the movie pretty much, and you'd
Yeah.
have an animated movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think the I really enjoyed the what's it called? The race scene in the middle, that the one that Rex died at, quote unquote died. He faked his death at.
Yes,
The I forget what it's called.
Casa something or
Yeah, something like that. I don't
yeah.
remember. But it's sort of like an endurance race. And
Is this the
very
one that ends up on the mountain and there's the fight scene in the snow?
yes.
That snow fight scene was pretty awesome. That was
Yeah.
insane. I loved that. I was all in on that fight scene. I was kind of disappointed when it ended.
Nice. I'm glad you like that scene. That scene is crazy. When that, yeah, full cartoon
Oh,
there.
amazing.
Yeah. Sparky, not a good fighter. Don't want him in
Yeah.
a fight. Gets beat up by the ninja, gets beat up by or the Nanja, gets beat up in the snow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they're going down the mountain in like those tunnels.
Yeah.
He has to deal with the snake guy.
There's the he gets kicked off the mountain and he has the hook, not hooks, like the
Uh,
spikes that help him not.
yeah.
And then he flips to the other side of the mountain, like
Yeah.
going almost from almost perfectly vertical one way, flipping to be almost vertical the other way to go back up the mountain.
Yeah.
Insane. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, pretty sick. I love the way the car they can like, he like flips the car sometimes, like has the little jump like thing. He's like
Yes.
press Y and you like jump and flip your car.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think the races in the movie are really great. I mean the movie's just so weird. I have to like respect it. There's so many there are parts of it that are really bad, but there are so many parts of it that are really good. So it's kind of a crazy mixed bag of a movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think like the biggest downfall is that for me, it was just hard to like I visually unappealing for me, I think, for the most part.
Mm,
Like
interesting.
I liked some of the stuff that was going on, and some of the parts I think were really cool to look at, like the fight scene and some of the racing and stuff. But
Yeah.
there was man, the overuse of CGI and
Wow. The whole movie CGI basically.
yeah. And yeah, I mean just some of it just I think visually really did not work for me. Um
That's very fair, and that's definitely the like most polarizing part of the movie.
yeah.
But yeah, it's an insane looking movie,
Yeah.
and parts of it are just straight up bad.
Yes.
But I still
And
like
it's
it.
long. Come on. Why did this have to
But
be
it's
2 hours and 15 minutes? You know what though? If this movie was like 90 minutes, it probably would not have been over $100 million.
I mean, oh right for the yeah maybe
Because it was I think
because
120 million or something like that.
yeah the budget
Um
yeah
the
yeah
budget.
this
So
movie also was a big flop. Definitely reviled when it came out. I feel like it came out and people just were like, I have no idea what to do with this. This is and yeah, and maybe part of that is the studio trying to make it a little too mainstream and family friendly. But I think also it was just people were not ready for this like insanity that is this movie. Like they're trying to make a big mainstream, big budget movie that's going to appeal to everyone. At least that's what the studio wants. And the Wachowskis are like, we want to make the most insane movie ever, without any like boundaries of what general audience is going to respond to. Uh, so it definitely just did not work. And I feel like people I don't know. I feel like once you know what to expect for this movie, at least for me, I was able to enjoy it much more on my second viewing. And I feel like this is a movie that is rewatchable because it's so unique and it's so lighthearted and silly. Uh, so even though it is very flawed, I still really enjoyed it. I'm not one of these people that is like Speed Racer is amazing, one of my favorite movies, but I think it is unfairly maligned, and I still really like it. And I'm glad I picked it.
yeah. I'm glad you picked it because I'm glad I watched it. I think totally new experience, totally unique. Um I think I don't fully understand the amount of revival that it's getting. I'm glad that it's getting reassessed and that people are enjoying it. But yeah, like there's a lot of people out there that say this is like in their top five now, which is great. And
Yeah.
have whatever movies you want as your favorite movies of all time. Um, but
I
this
think
was
it is
hard for me.
also
I didn't love it.
partially, yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Uh, uh, I think it is partially like a generational thing, maybe, like where people that we're like, obviously generations are kind of arbitrary, but we're kind of like in between millennial and Gen Z. And I feel like people that are a little younger than us, the Gen Z people, like they love the Star Wars prequels also. Like Revenge
Yeah,
of the
they'll love
Sith,
this.
like if you look on Letterboxd, Revenge of the Sith has something like a 3.9 average rating. on Letterboxd, which is like kind of crazy, but I'm also like I don't see the 3.9. That's crazy. But I see why people like it to some degree, but just that style like
Yeah, right.
it
It's like
when it,
nostalgia.
yeah, but it's almost like they were born into a world where that is a thing, and we were kind of born into a world. Well, I don't know. I guess Phantom Menace came out in '99. We weren't really creating memories at that point, but like people were just not ready for this. They were like, "This is not what a movie is supposed to look like. This is like no, I don't want it." And then for whatever reason, younger kids like have just very much accepted this like completely artificial style of filmmaking, a lot more than young than like older people. Uh, so yeah, I think part of it is
Yeah,
generational.
I think you're right. And I think, yeah, I think this movie again, like also in terms of the generational stuff, like there's just so much going on. Like you were saying, it's uh, you know, it's like pretty much nonstop with stuff on the screen. Everything's moving. There's always audio stuff. I can see where um attention span can play a role here, right? Where
Mm,
if you always need something to be going on, you know, like Hundreds of Beavers is probably not your movie, you know. If you
mm,
if you just need constant stimulation,
mm.
not that I'm saying this movie necessarily is whatever. Not that I'm saying that's like a bad thing, right? But just that that is how uh maybe how this movie can get even more attention with people in the next like 5 years, right?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think this is like an overstimulating movie, like a
Yeah,
lot of it. Yeah.
which is tough. That doesn't do it for me, I think. And that was kind of my one of my biggest problems with Enter the Void too, was just the
Mm,
overstimulation of it all. And
mm.
which you know, I mean, sometimes that can be I think it's a risk, right? And sometimes that can be great and pay off. And sometimes it pays off well for some people and not others. But
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. This is like such a polarizing style that just might not appeal to some people. Um, I wonder what the like like contemporary version of this is. Like something in a way it's almost maybe like live streaming or something. Or maybe like AI stuff. Like 20 years from now are people are like kids going to just be like, "Yeah, everything's AI and like that's normal and I don't care." Maybe.
yeah. Have you
Like I'm just not necessarily as far as quality. This movie is not as evil and diabolical as AI, obviously,
right.
but just in terms of something that like the popular like main like public just is like, no, we don't want this, like fuck this. And then it'll just end up being accepted and like celebrated years down the line. A little bit of a Marty going back and Back to the Future and saying, You're not ready for this, but your kids are gonna love it." I feel like that's
Yeah,
Speed Racer a little bit. And then like I'm curious what the contemporary version of that is.
I got you. Have you heard of this movie Our Drawings?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's essentially a YouTube movie. It's like maybe
Okay.
60 minutes long by this guy Kalobi. And all these characters are animated in very different ways. And I have to like they actually speak nonsense at times. Um, it feels like the movie is kind of made by AI, although the artist or person has like said that it's not. But uh it's insane. And there's some really strange stuff. And but if anyone out there, you got to look up the beatboxing puppy on YouTube
Oh
because
goodness.
it's kind of
No,
an,
no. This I'm offended.
yeah, but
No.
like that's what I mean, right? Like right now, that is something where to me right now I'm like this is in all ways uh too much for me and I'm not in
Mm,
on this, right? But I wonder if like when
mm,
there's so much and I'm not saying that movie's necessarily AI slop, right? But when there is so much like stuff that's even like visually weirder and worse and like more nonsensical than that, like maybe people will come back to something like that.
mm.
Um, and I mean that's a really obscure pick, but like I
Yeah, I
can't
don't
think of
know.
anything else that I've seen that's like that today.
Maybe like Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah, but that's
Because
right. But
because I'm like, well, that's stupid. It makes no sense. But then also it's like Skibbity Toilet is just like dumb bullshit. Like Skibbity
right,
Toilet might as well just be a pet rock.
that's what I mean, and
Like
that's not
people are
like
people don't look
yeah,
back at pet rocks like, oh, that was kind of cool. It's like, oh, that was stupid. Why did people have pet rocks? And like
yeah.
So Skibbity Toilet is just the pet rock of this generation.
Right. Also, I think like when we look back at like memes from when we were kids, like
Mm,
I think that's different than looking back at like revisiting or taking a retrospective on a movie, right? Like I think
yeah.
film, not that memes can't overlap with art in some ways, I guess, um, but I think like this is like almost a new media for film, right? Like not
Yeah.
necessarily that this is like that Speed Racer was like an end all be all change how film is done because it didn't, right? But like it is a totally unique way to do it that's now being like
I
reappreciated.
mean, can I say though, without Speed Racer, do we have Avatar?
Ooh, that's interesting.
I mean, completely CGI everything. It's just kind of a wacky, silly version of it.
Yeah,
And now Avatar, like two of the three most successful box office movies of all time.
yeah.
So that's kind of game changing. And I mean, who's to say Skibidi Toilet did not come from Speed Racer?
But that's what I'm yeah, but I'm saying like I wonder if like essentially that Kolobi thing, right? That R drawings thing is kind of like a full length, a feature length version of Brain Rot, right? Like Skibbity Toilet
Hmm.
and stuff like that.
See, yeah,
And
that stuff I don't really understand. I'm just saying Skibidi Toilet, but I don't really like
yeah,
it.
but
Could,
like
but that's the point is that I'm old, so I
right,
can't understand
right, Brain Rot movies
it.
will become
Ooh,
more and more common,
oh,
right? And that's what I'm saying. So that our drawings movie
yeah.
is essentially it doesn't
Hmm.
have like traditional brain rot in it, but it is essentially a brain rot movie. I think maybe
You
right.
know,
Like yeah,
the most brain rot movie I've ever seen, Trash Humpers. Do you know that movie?
no,
Go if you ever want brain rot, it's Trash Humpers. And it's from like 2009. Harmony Korine.
oh
It's I would say one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Uh, it is genuinely like yeah,
brain
I
rot.
think it is brain rot. Yeah, but maybe there is something to that of this being like so stupid that it's like Dada art. Like that's like where
Right.
that's like the lineage of it or something. But we're kind of off Speed Racer.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but there is also an element where like movies were such the dominant like cultural thing for like so long, and I it's kind of like not as much that now. Like who's a bigger like star today just by the number of humans who know them? Is it like friggin' Glenn Powell or is it like I Show Speed or Kai Cenat or it's like one of these streamers? Like those streamers are probably more well known
oh yeah.
than some movie stars now.
And like influencers get more money, I think, than actors today, right? Like
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
some of the highest paid ones are paid more than the
Mm.
majority of actors for sure. So like I think yeah, we're moving into a world where like this is way off of Speed Racer, but yeah, we are kind of moving into a world where like influencers are kind of replacing maybe actors, and then so like what replaces movies, right? Is it
It's the Kardashianification of society, I think.
interesting? Let's brand that term,
The
trademark that term.
I think it might be it's their name. It might be hard to brand a trademark. But
Anyways,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it is interesting to think like I think you're onto something here with like this kind of being a thing that's now being revisited. What is it today that will be revisited in 20 years where it's like, hey, you know, a lot of stuff is looking kind of the same, right? And that's I think that's part of maybe why Speed Racer is getting revisited because
Hmm.
a lot of Hollywood, a lot of these $100 million movies look the same, right? And so
Yeah.
you can watch something that was totally creative and totally unique, um, and doesn't follow those rules, right? And I wonder what in 20 years will be that. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. If anyone is on YouTube and you have an idea of something that could be like pushing the boundaries, something that's wacky and
Yeah,
could be is rejected today but could be in the future accepted in a way that Speed Racer has, let us know. I'm very
yeah,
curious what people would say. And especially if you're younger.
right.
If you're like, 10 years younger than us and you have if you're Gen Z and you're a little more tapped in on that, like maybe it is just streaming. It's just
That's
Twitch.
true. Also,
I don't know.
to go back to this art drawings thing, this is not a very popular movie, but there is, if you look at the graph for this movie, there's like a big bump for everyone that's just listening. There's like, it's like almost all half stars, a couple of one stars, and then the only rest of the ratings are 5 stars. And there about an eighth of the ratings overall are 5 star ratings, right?
Hmm.
So it has a big bump. So I wonder if, if stuff like that, where it's just like kind of nonsense on YouTube, is like, uh, again, like parallels to like brain rot, right? Where
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. But
Yeah. But then I will say to give hope to our people who do love movies, 2026, I feel like is going to be like movies are going to be cooking again. We have Dune Part 3, which is going to be fire. And then The Odyssey,
yeah,
which is also just going to be incredible, which we'll get to our Christopher Nolan discussion after. And Disclosure Day, new
yeah,
original Steven Spielberg movie. Like I feel like those are three big, like auteur-driven, um, very cinematic. And I'm just super excited though. I'm just super excited for all those movies. And I
yeah,
think they're kind of, I'm hoping that they're all going to be very successful and as sort of a perhaps a counterpoint to like the biggest movies of the year being like the Minecraft movie or like even the MCU era. And like finally we're getting obviously the third Dune movie is not original. I guess it's a sequel, but I feel like that trilogy is more, it more reminds me of like Lord of the Rings than anything else.
yeah.
As far as just being like based on books and it's not like a whole entire franchise that there's. I mean, I guess they did try to make the Dune TV show, which was just okay. But regardless, my point is there's still hope for big auteur-driven cinematic movies, and not everything is going to become brain rot. Not everyone is going to be watching, clips of I Show Speed doing backflips with Subway Surfers on the bottom half of the screen. There's still hope
That's right.
for
Also,
culture.
I mean, and thinking about, it's award season, right? We're coming up to last year's awards, and we've got things like Begonia was like, was adapted technically, right? But it feels very uh uh unique and novel still in a way. We've got things like One Battle After Another and Sinners, right? Like
Yeah,
huge new, like great
original
idea
concepts.
stuff, right? Original concepts, things that are really, and Weapons, right, was another big one that hit last year. I think it was up for awards. I kind of forget, but
Amy Madigan got nominated, but that was pretty much it. But
yeah,
even that, like a horror movie like that, usually is not going to be
right,
accepted by the Academy Awards at all.
right, yeah. Last year, what did we get? We got Substance, and that was it for horror, I think. This year,
Yeah,
we've got like Sinners, we've got Weapons appearing, we've got Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So cool stuff, right? I mean, anyways, that's horror, but also, I mean, I think
yeah,
in general, if you look at that list of nominations, there's a lot of great stuff that is, widely, not just widely like critically acclaimed, but also just made wide success, right?
yeah. And there is definitely like a growing audience, I think, for like cinema in a way. It's more niche in a way. Like it's not as maybe it's not the most dominant thing in culture anymore, but there's still an audience that wants like these things. And especially as like phones and sort of brain rot content, like just sort of doom scrolling and the news
Yeah,
is all bullshit for the most part. And like to, people want like art that is meaningful, I think still. And I think that's just kind of a thing that humans desire. And so like people hopefully go read a book,
right.
go like do you know just I think there's going to be like a reaction against the phones at some point. They are
Yeah,
so addicting that it's like we're all locked in and can't get away probably, but I feel like there is still I don't think it's hopeless yet.
yeah. I mean, there is like the very niche, uh, uh, kind of movement of like dumb phones and stuff like that, right? Where
Mm,
you have a phone that doesn't do crap, right? But I don't really think that'll take off. But I do think that like smaller things that we can all do, right? Like put a timer on your phone for, stop letting you use an app after you've spent an hour on it or
yeah.
something, right? Or also when you sit down to like be with people, or watch a movie or whatever, like put your phone away for a little while. Like, and yeah, I'm guilty of this too at times, right? Like it's hard to imagine anyone that's not in some way at times looking at their phone when they probably shouldn't be, right? Or not shouldn't, but like, you know, like you're trying to be social or you're trying to watch something or whatever, right? And you just you feel it
Yeah.
buzz, you got to check it, and then it's like, well, it was a Reddit notification. Let me go to Reddit. Then it's like, oh, hey, look at that. There's another Reddit thing, and then it's like, oh, and then you're like, oh, I missed a big monologue in this movie. Good thing, or I missed a big part of this movie. Good thing Netflix now, all the movies they make will tell me what happened right away. So
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah, pretty tough. But yeah, anyway.
we've gone from Speed Racer to a big philosophical discussion about art and media and how
Yeah.
things are changing. But
Yeah, but anyway, Speed Racer. Is there anything else we should say about it?
uh,
I don't know.
I got nothing else.
All right, cool. Let's do our ratings.
You want to go first? What'd you give it?
I gave it 3.5 stars and a like.
Oh,
I enjoy Speed Racer. It's a deeply flawed but one of a kind, and I respect that.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I am giving
One
Speed
star.
Racer. No, I'm better than that. I'm giving it 2 stars. There's a lot of stuff that I did enjoy, but I think ultimately I was kind of brought down to like 2.5 overall, 2 or 2.5. And then the whole monkey abuse thing, I was like, man, fuck
Oh,
that. Like, come on, guys. Make a movie without a fucking monkey. Or no, actually, there you go. You don't really. Anyways, whatever. I already went on tangent about that. So I did kind of. I was like, you know what? I'm already kind of 2 or 2.5. I'm just gonna fucking two. This is a 2 for me.
that's fair.
Um.
I will say I really like Chim Chim in the credits.
Oh yeah,
Remember, there's a bunch like Chim Chim's doing all wacky stuff in the
yeah,
credits.
yeah. That's true.
I
Also, in the
like Chim
credits, you
Chim.
can hear the
The
original
the
shows uh,
theme
stuff
song.
theme song. Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it like a new cover of the original theme song, maybe, or something like that? I
It
don't
sounded
remember.
familiar to me. Like definitely, like I recalled it, but it could also be new and just like I don't know. I listened to it, 15 whatever years ago or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I was never a big Speed Racer kid, so I don't really have any like attachment to Speed Racer. So I don't, yeah.
Funny for me, it was really my neighbor was into it, and so I would hang out with my neighbor back in the day
Huh.
when you would like go outside and hang out with your neighbor, right?
Yeah.
I would hang out with my neighbor, and we would watch Speed Racer inside sometimes, and so I was never actually super big into it, but I enjoyed watching it with them. So,
Gotcha. Cool.
so
All right.
anyways,
Speed
rating
Racer.
recap: we've
Yeah.
got um, a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, a 42 critic score, 42% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 60% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I was actually surprised. I thought the audience score might be a little bit higher.
Hmm.
Sometimes you see even bigger discrepancies with like cult following movies that are being
Yeah.
reevaluated. But I wonder if it'll start to increase even more and more. But that does bring it to a 5.8 out of 10 average. So, yeah.
That makes sense. And I think Speed Racer came out in 2008, so the internet was already a thing. And I feel like the critics and audience at the time both just
Yeah.
did not accept the movie at all. They were like, this sucks. This is terrible. And then now the younger audience has sort of, it started to accept it more. So yeah, I think, but I mean, it's sort of like Revenge of the Sith on Letterboxd now. I think it has a 3.9, but I feel like if you went back 5 years on Letterboxd, it was probably like a 3.5 or something. And five years further back, it's probably like a 2.9 or something. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's been slowly rising over time as
Right.
more younger people are getting like using those apps probably.
Also, that's another thing. I think Rotten Tomatoes is maybe not the immediate pick for the younger generation too,
Oh yeah,
right?
that's a good
So
point. Yeah. Well, I mean, what like 18-year-old kid is like, I'm gonna make it. I don't have a Rotten Tomatoes account.
yeah, I don't either. I'm not.
Why would I do that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like, I think there might be some skewing there in terms of age there.
Do you have a Yelp account?
No.
Yeah, me neither. See, there you go. Okay, that's where we're on the borderline, but that makes us more Zoomer than millennial. I was like,
Yeah.
if you have a Yelp account, you might as well be Gen X. You're old. Well, you're like Yelping. You're like
Yeah.
the Applebee's or something. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. 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 Yelp. That's a little old. Yep. Anyways, um, uh,
On to Tenet.
Tenet.
No
This
chim chim
was
in Tenet.
no chim
Unfortunate.
chim. Yeah, also no animal abuse.
Yeah.
um, this is our pick, my pick for the over $100 million budget. This is Christopher Nolan's $205 million uh, movie that was made pretty much before COVID, it seems, and then came out directly after. Um,
Kind
it's
of during COVID. It came out in like, was it September of 2020? It was like
yeah,
basically the first movie back in theaters. So that's definitely a factor in the
yeah,
movie. Yeah.
definitely. And it was up for no, it won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects for that year. It was not a big success though in the box office. It got uh I can't really read my own handwriting, somewhere in the 300 and something million dollar range for box office, which is not a lot considering how much money they put into it, I guess. But
That's globally, right?
yeah, global. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I, this is my first time watching it, and I'll tell you what, I'm a little fucking confused.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like this
I'll tell
movie.
you, I'll tell you what, this is my second time watching it. I'm fucking confused too.
This I mean, this movie is maybe just as ambitious, but in different ways as Speed Racer. Also
Yeah.
similar in terms of like like blank check. That's the word I was looking for that you had used before.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Nolan, do whatever you want. You know, keep just here's money, make a movie. You know,
Yeah.
and he's
I mean,
riding on a lot of success before this. So
yeah, I mean, literally like Batman Begins, Prestige, Dark Knight, Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, even Dunkirk, I think made like a ton of money. Like those are all like super well received critically and like huge box office success pretty much. So like, I mean, yeah, he really could do whatever he wanted. And he was like, I'm gonna do the most confusing James Bond movie you could ever imagine.
yeah, yeah.
He
And
loves time, obviously. Obviously, the the recurring motif throughout all of his movies is distortions of time and stuff like that in reality, but a lot of time stuff. And this is the ultimate version of that.
yeah, and the name is a palindrome, right? So it's the same
Yeah.
forwards and backwards, which obviously has implications in the movie where you have the like temporal pincer movement stuff where you have people like going. Actually, I'm not gonna try to explain it. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, people are going. There are some people, some objects can their entropy can be inversed, and then they move backward in time, despite everything else continuing to move forward in time as normal.
Right.
And as we learn through the movie, people can do this, and how that works truly makes no sense at all. And that's just how what the happens in the movie.
Yeah, and you just kind of have to roll with it. And I get stuck sometimes in sci-fi movies, um, particularly space ones, where I'm like, uh, I kind of get annoyed, and I'm like, hey, that's not. I don't like that. That's not how it works. Like blah blah blah. Right. Whatever.
Yeah, not
Um,
realistic.
right. Yeah. And for some reason, I think just because I mean it's what I studied, right, and stuff. So it's like harder for me to put my harder for me to like suspend my disbelief for stuff like that. And in some ways in this, I was just like they're explaining the bullet as like inverting your entropy when he first finds it and stuff. And I was pretty much like immediately I was like, all right, I don't give a shit about what they want, like the science here. I really don't like there's no way this makes any scientific sense. I just have to roll with it. And I was able to do that, but also I don't still understand everything. It's
That's
confusing.
very that's very fair. Yeah. Uh super confusing movie. You kind of have to watch it twice to understand it. Because there's so many elements of, obviously we're gonna get into spoilers of the movie. There's like so many things of people have gone back in time and this is not their first time going through this. They know information other people don't know. And like I think, yeah, this movie, like they try to they do so much explaining. There's a lot of explaining. And when you're just explaining something that just doesn't make sense, like
Yeah.
why keep explaining it? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And that's yeah. Um which is often what gets me, right? Where it's like I don't like that you're trying to explain the science. I already am trying not to acknowledge it, right? Like
Yeah.
um
It-
yeah.
yeah, it's tough. When people are going, they are moving backward in time, but they're moving forward from their perspective. Like I like that it's filmed, like the way it's filmed is cool, but it really doesn't make like it just doesn't make sense. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I
It's
think
really
it's
hard
like
to wrap your head around.
yeah. And it's like visually interesting and can make for some really cool
Yeah.
moments, like the moment when he is uh I don't even actually know how to describe it, but like I don't know how to describe it because of what happens, but I guess like he's sat in the chair and interrogated, and the main
Ye-
villain
Yeah.
is uh,
Yeah. I don't know.
had already is going to slash has already shot the girl, the woman, and then
It
un,
makes no sense.
fuck, I can't even
It makes
explain
no
it.
sense. It
That's like
makes
one important scene in the movie where it's a cool thing to watch. And it's like I think the reveal of like him going backwards and everything was like interesting to me. And I was like, whoa. But I'm sitting here, I can't explain a single like that one scene in the movie. I actually can't explain what happened or
no, it
how.
doesn't make any sense. And at the very beginning, when he's sort of first introduced to the reverse bullets, he asks about like, oh, what are the implications for free will? And she kind of just says like, I forget exactly what the
Yeah,
scientist says, but it's something like, I still don't know what you're gonna do or something. But it's like he can't have free will, right?
right.
Because it's already happened.
Right. And
But
also
then
right. I mean,
but
from the moment where where he shoots her and then he is walking behind him in the current time and going into the machine and then coming out of it and shooting her in reverse or whatever. From that moment, there's
he
no
are
he can't do anything.
right. It's like it doesn't really make sense to me because
Right.
he already now he has this information too. He's seen essentially his future.
Right. But he can't stop the guy. Right.
Yeah,
There's in
in
theory, if
theory,
he had
like
a
he
gun,
can't.
couldn't he just bam and shoot the guy? But he can't because the guy has already gone through the machine and shot
Yeah, I see what you mean.
like
Like
he can't kill the guy when he's on his way to the machine because the guy is seeing himself in the machine, so he knows that he already gets to the machine and comes out.
right. So what happens if he does shoot the guy, but he can't? It's sort of,
Right.
I guess they talk about the grandfather paradox, where
Yeah.
if you go
Yeah.
back in time and kill your grandfather, how would you like you can't do that because then you wouldn't exist, but then
Yeah. Except this is like, so they
that's why
explain when you're going into these machines, you can't, they essentially say, always look, make sure that you can see yourself coming out. Right. Because if you
right,
go in and you didn't see yourself coming out, it means you're not going to come out. Right.
right.
And,
But that yeah,
and so if he sees what's like the bad guy is seeing that he's able to do the thing on the other side, so he knows he can walk over to the machine and come out and do it, but he already saw that he did it, so he can't go into the machine and make a different choice when he comes out of it.
right. Yeah, it doesn't
Oh
make any
man.
sense. I think this is the thing with all these time travel movies and stuff
Yeah.
is that they inherently don't make sense because that's not how reality works. Like there are certain rules in reality and you can't just like break them. But in a movie, you can.
Yeah, and you can do
Like
whatever you
it,
want and it looks cool.
yes, exactly. And like I think that's part of what the appeal is for Christopher Nolan and he loves a puzzle. So I
Yeah.
wrote in my letterbox review, but this is a concept that I heard on Blank Check podcast. But notably, these are both big Blank Check movies, and both of them have been covered on the Blank Check podcast. So you can go listen to those episodes if you want to. But in the episode for Spirited Away, the guest David Reese talks about this concept of puzzle movies and dream movies. And I feel like Christopher Nolan is like the perfect puzzle filmmaker. His
Mm.
movies are meant to be figured out. It all fits together. And that's, I think, part of the reason they're so appealing to the masses is that they are like challenging and they make you think, but also there are answers and it's not really very ambiguous ever. Even like Inception, which like caused the ending, caused a lot of discussion about what it really happens. There is kind of like a pretty obvious answer, I think, if you just like think about it. But anyway, that's just my opinion about
Which
Inception.
is no, I'm just kidding. We're not
Yeah.
gonna spoil
Yeah, we don't
Inception.
have to spoil Inception, but yeah, like he's very puzzle. It's very logical, and sometimes the criticism of his movies is that they can be kind of cold and not very emotional. Or that's probably the weakest part of most of his movies. Some of his movies can be emotional, but that's definitely not his forte.
Yeah.
But there are also like dreamlike filmmakers and like Spirited Away, which we also covered on our podcast. If you want to go back and listen to our episode about Spirited Away, that's like a very dreamy movie where there's all these crazy stuff happening, but it's so dreamlike and surreal that you don't really mind about like the rules and the specifics about it. And I think this movie maybe needed a more dreamlike approach because you're
Yeah.
taking something that is it's basically like a puzzle that can't be solved because it doesn't make sense. It's like a how my it's like you're trying to make a four-dimensional puzzle on like a 2D flat table. And it's like, well, you can't do it. This puzzle does not work because it just inherently like doesn't really make sense with reality. So I
Mhm.
feel like, but I don't think Nolan is able to do that. Like it's just not the way he makes movies. So he's trying to make something that is nonsense make sense. And so that ends up with a lot of describing nonsense. And it makes the
Yeah.
movie kind of have a lot of stretches where it's just like, all right, we're just gonna keep explaining this thing that does not make sense to me.
Right. It's like there's a lot of times in this movie where you will be like, or you were like, I was like, don't just shut up. Like just keep going with the movie. Like I understand what you're trying to do without you trying to make it make sense.
Hmm.
Or I understand at least like the I can follow along with like I want to say the plot, but like not really. But like I can follow you. Just do it. Don't tell me it. Um
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean even with
because
like the yeah, but
the just the explanation just kind of slows everything down, but then
yeah.
also it doesn't really achieve much of making things make sense. Like you're still confused by the end of it. So you're like, what was the point of all this exposition if it still doesn't make sense?
Yeah. And not that this is unusual for Nolan, but the movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think, something like
I
that.
think 230.
2:30. And it feels it. Like it's not like Interstellar or Batman uh any of the Dark Knight trilogy, I guess. I was gonna say The Dark Knight Rises. Nope. Damn it. I was gonna say The Dark Knight, but really again, any of them. It doesn't quite feel as like you know it doesn't feel like you're always doing something, right? And Interstellar I feel like was a good one where there is weird crap happening and it's kind of sciency and stuff obviously, but it does a good job of explaining it a little bit but not needing to, like, I mean, this you have to try, if you want to try to explain this scientifically you have to like try really hard because there's no way to do it, right?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, right.
I don't know.
And Interstellar has so much other stuff going on
Yeah.
that but this movie, the time thing is just the entire movie. That's literally all that it's about. So there's nothing else for you to really hang your hat on except for the cool visuals and like cool action scenes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But even the cool action scenes, it's like, well, now there's a car driving backwards, and we're like, what's happening? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then there's, oh my god. And so the car scene, and then he goes back in time and is actually the car that the thing skipped on. Like, so, oh man. Um,
Mm.
uh, oh man.
Yeah, the
John
car
David
crash.
Washington's character, the protagonist, I guess
Yeah.
is what he's called. I was trying to think of
Yes.
his name, but yeah,
Oh,
he
he doesn't have a
throws,
name.
yeah, he throws the thing out of the car and it skips like on the roof, the hood of another car, I think. And then the bad guy gets it, and then we see that again, but then he is in the car that it skips on, and he gets the thing out of the case, I think, right? Doesn't he like steal the thing out of the case? Oh man, I
I'm
forget. I
I'm not
like
gonna lie, I don't know. I will say I liked how the car chase was filmed. I want Christopher Nolan to do more
yes,
car chases, but
yes.
ones where like there's not people moving backwards in time during.
Also, Robert Pattinson did a lot of the stunt driving, which is cool.
Huh.
Like, he
I
actually
didn't.
did a lot of the stunt driving.
Interesting.
Also, so complaining a little bit here about not really understanding how it all works, but one thing that I uh, is easier to understand how it works is how they filmed it, which is cool. Um, they did. There's very few like there's not really a lot of CGI, and there's very few visual like computer visual effects. It's all practical, which is cool. Even the
Yeah.
reverse time stuff, they just film over and stuff. So kind of like
Yeah, most
classic like George Méliès tricks or something where you're just filming over. But
yeah, you just film and play it in reverse, and
yeah,
that's how it works. It's very cool, and you can like it is very cool, but then also you can like you can tell people are moving backwards, and then it's being played forwards. Um, but yeah, it was kind of cool when he's being shown around like the training for all these like soldiers who are involved in this. Also, there's like thousands of people involved in this time travel stuff, which is kind of crazy.
yeah,
But
yeah. Which I didn't understand how. Yeah, whatever. Keep going. Sorry, I'll get to that.
they're training, and there's like half of the soldiers are moving forward in time and half of them are inverted. So like, but they're training in the same place. So some of them are like going like marching backwards. Like that's how it looks to us because we're like the protagonist is and Robert Pattinson and Aaron Taylor Johnson. They're moving forward, but half of the soldiers training are moving backwards, and you can kind of see the differences in them. It's
Yeah,
kind of cool. Just the little tricks like that are cool to see.
definitely. I mean, it was cool. Like that's the thing is like the I think that the visual appeal was actually there, right? Like I thought
Yeah.
all the stuff that was happening looked pretty cool for the most part. Um, the the there was also like moments of the mystery that I was really into, like at the beginning with the bullets, and he was like, okay, and then he has to go to this place to try to figure stuff out, and it does feel very much like a James Bond movie in those moments. And also the lady, um, uh, cat,
Elizabeth. Oh,
yeah,
Elizabeth
yeah,
Debicki. Yeah.
yeah. She trying to figure like she saw the woman jump off of the boat, right? And there's that whole like she wanted to be free like that and stuff. And
Mhm.
when I started to piece together that was going to be her, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm in on like so there was like moments of the mystery that I was really into trying to piece together and figure out. But largely there were pieces that really didn't have a lot of the actual time stuff going on, you know? Because the actual time stuff was just so hard for me to wrap my head around what really was happening and why it mattered. Like how did this thing cause this, right?
Yeah.
And I just got very confused. Cause and effect seemed to have no place in this movie.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like people are stuck in like a maze or something, and they're just robots that have to move their same direction. So
Yeah, yeah, no free will, no free will. It seems.
yeah, it seems like it. So yeah, that kind of sucks, I guess. Kind of makes the Also, for a movie, you kind of want your characters to have free will, so you're like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do next, rather than I know exactly what they're going to do next.
Yeah, right. That's the
But
thing too. Is like when you start to see everything happen in reverse towards the end. Um, like the whole plane fight scene where they're
yeah,
fight, like you know what's you know everything that's going to happen.
right. You
Um,
just see it from the opposite perspective.
yeah,
I liked it. I
I
think it's cool.
I thought it was cool, but like it's there's not a lot of intrigue there anymore, or like what's going to happen. It does visually look cool again, right? Like I was in on
Yeah,
that, but yeah, I don't know. Um,
yeah,
the mystery, it's like the mystery and the visual effects were like competing. You know, like at times I'm like, yeah, I'm in on the mystery, but that's when there's not a lot of uh stuff going on visually, and then I'm like, okay, I'm in on the visual effects, but that's when there's not a lot of stuff for me to try to piece together.
Yeah, I get that. And yeah, there's so much of this movie is like supposed to be dreamy, I think. Like even their like code word is that we live in a twilight world. And then also when John David Washington is like getting everything explained to him, she says like, don't try to understand it, feel it. And it's like they're
Yeah,
telling us like, oh, just feel the movie. Don't like try to think about it too much. Like this is gonna be dreamy and like cool, and don't worry about it making sense. But then the whole rest of the movie feels like him trying to make it make sense. So I'm
yeah,
like, that's why I feel like it's the dream and the puzzle like clashing to where he just maybe is not the right filmmaker because he has to try to make everything make sense. But even though, and I don't know, so it just doesn't quite work. But there are so many cool elements to the movie, but yeah, I want to say a good thing about the movie because we are being very negative, and
yeah.
I didn't hate watching the movie. I love the music. Ludwig
Yes.
Göransson, same guy who did Sinners, probably gonna win like his I think like third or fourth Oscar this year if he wins for Sinners. Uh, great music. Like all the way throughout, all the music is fantastic. I love the look of the movie too. It's shot by Hoyt van Hoytema, who's a great cinematographer, and I feel like they like just absolutely crushed everything. Um, I was also curious what you thought of like the sound design and the dialogue in the movie because that was a huge thing that everyone hated when the movie came out.
Oh,
That basically that no one most of the movie they're wearing masks,
yeah.
and also the dialogue is often muffled and often like riddle-ish and confusing and also hard to hear. Like the
Mm.
way it's mixed in with the music and the sound and everything else, it's very hard to hear. And I will say this time watching it, I watched it on Blu-ray and I like 5 minutes in, I just put on subtitles.
I was gonna say when you were asking the question the first time, I was like, oh, I didn't really have many problems. But then I realized the reason I stopped having problems is because I put subtitles on. Yeah.
So did you have the
Um,
same thing where you didn't understand what they were saying at the beginning and then you just put the subtitles on?
yeah, I maybe put them on like uh not that long in. During the bullet scene, maybe when they're doing the
Oh,
inverted
okay.
bullet part.
I did it even earlier because
Yeah.
it was right at the beginning.
I
But
was
yeah,
trying to push through and I was like, all right, I think this is yeah. Um,
there you go. Yeah.
but
So that is
also,
a big problem that people had with the movie, which I could see.
yeah. I will say though, you're totally right about the music and the cinematography. And interesting, this is like uh for a long time, uh Christopher Nolan had been pretty much teamed up with Hans Zimmer. And
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer said no to this movie to go do Dune Part One. So
Oh, okay. Honestly, win-win.
yeah, this movie I think it works really great. And Dune Part One also works really great. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
you know,
I can't wait to come. I will say, I'm saying it right now. Before Dune Part 3 comes out, we're gonna do an episode on Dune Part 1 and Part 2, full in-depth episode. I can't wait.
yeah,
I'm so excited for Dune.
that'll be awesome.
I'm
That
so
will be
ready to get
great,
duned, bro.
dude. Um, but yeah, so I think the Hans Zimmer saying no to this movie is surprising to me, though. Anyways, just because they'd been kind of working together for so long. But
Yeah, maybe he read the script and he was like, "This doesn't make any fucking sense at all. I'm not doing
yeah,
this."
how the hell am I supposed to score this in reverse?
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of it does sound like there are instruments played in reverse in a lot of the music.
There could be. Yeah, I can see that. That would make sense, right? I mean, yeah. The name the protagonist
Hmm.
makes me feel like I am not supposed to like feel for the character. How do you feel about
Hmm.
the name the protagonist? Because it makes me, I don't know. I didn't I found myself confused on why they chose that.
Hmm. I don't know. I guess it probably goes into some kind of a theme about storytelling that is probably a way to interpret the movie. Yeah, definitely like you don't know anything about the guy, but also I feel like it's kind of in the vein of James Bond and Jason Bourne, specifically the scene when they're on the
Mm,
boat and everything's getting explained to him. When he at the very beginning tries to kill himself. Which also that's a very cool scene when the two trains are moving in opposite directions and it's kind of like time, like one's moving forward, one's moving backward, and he's in the middle. But anyway, that scene on the boat when everything's getting explained to him reminded me of the scene I think in the first Jason Bourne movie when he's on a boat and someone's explaining to him exact
yeah.
like all the stuff at the beginning of the movie. Um,
Right.
but
Right.
but I feel like those movies are kind of like obviously there's a theories like that James Bond is just a code name for this that's why the actors change because it's the same it's a different human taking this you know uh
Role.
role basically, yeah. And like Jason Bourne, that's not his real name, I think, right? Isn't that the whole thing in the movies that he like doesn't know who he is?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely we don't know anything about the character. I don't really like mind. It's just yeah, the movie has you don't really have much of an emotional connection to him. I just don't think that's what the movie's going for.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Um,
And
yeah, it felt
also
weird. Yeah. Yeah.
it is
Go.
weird. It is weird. I think also John David Washington in this reminded me of Tom Cruise
Hmm.
because also John David Washington, short king. I looked it up. I noticed it throughout the whole movie. He's like shorter than everyone. And I looked it up. John David Washington is 5'9". Robert Pattinson is 6 foot one, and Elizabeth Debicki is 6 foot 2.
Yeah, I knew she was
And
tall. Yeah,
yeah,
but
and she's like wearing high heels and stuff in this.
yeah.
Like she's might as well be like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Uh, but yeah, she's so. And I feel like they don't do any like I feel like with Tom Cruise, he's probably he's probably shorter than 5'9". Uh, at least that's what it says on the internet. John David Washington's height is. I don't know if that's accurate, but Tom Cruise is also probably pretty short, and I feel like they make a lot of efforts to like make him look taller in the movie. Like he's
Mhm.
probably standing on a lot of apple boxes and like doing a lot of tricks to make him look taller than he actually is. But in this movie, like they don't really do any of that, and I think it's just related to John to I don't know. That's an element where he's
Yeah,
shorter than everyone else, and I feel like that's a subconscious human thing that probably Christopher Nolan doesn't even care about. He's just like, well, yeah, like who cares if he's tall or not? But I feel like there's a subconscious human thing of that's why people are pretty much like heightist against short people. And maybe that's part of the reason people don't like this movie is because they don't trick his height at all. So the protagonist looks short, which is perceived as being less powerful, especially in this spy game of
mm,
power plays, you know?
that's interesting. I definitely I did not pick up on the heights. I did pick up on Elizabeth Debicki being tall because
Yeah. How could you not?
she's yeah. I mean, Jesus. Yeah, you don't need to put her
But
in heels, but you do.
and
So
and John David Washington, I feel like he could be like a good action star. I feel like he was
yeah.
really good in this movie, and I think he has like a good presence for that. I've never seen him do. I mean, I think he has acted in some movies where he's doing more dramatic work. I know there was like, yeah, the piano lesson, which I haven't seen, but I know that that is more actory, which is maybe more of like his dad's that lane if you wanted to go more like actor slash movie star. But I feel
Mhm.
like he could also just be like straight up action movie star Tom Cruise style, and like he would be great at that.
Yeah, I can see that happening. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think he does great. Also, Robert Pattinson in this does awesome as always.
Yeah.
Um,
Pattinson, what a career arc.
oh my
From
god,
Twilight to being
yeah,
now he's like indie darling and Batman. Like this guy's crushing it.
yeah. I mean, he can do any
Eh,
like his range is so insane. You know, I mean, I just watched Die My Love not that long ago, and he's not like the main piece of that movie, but him in that versus him in this, insanely different, right? And
Yeah.
yeah,
And this year he's doing the drama, and then which I'm super looking forward to. And Dune Part 3, he's gonna be in that as well. And then
yeah,
next year, the Batman Part 2. I mean, Pattinson's on just like a generational run.
yeah.
And I
He
love that he's
insane.
willing to play supporting roles as well. Like
Yeah,
yeah. So
definitely.
that is very cool. And he is great in this. Obviously, pretty much none of these characters, except I guess the Elizabeth Debicki character, like none of them, we don't really know anything about them.
Right.
Uh, but I think he does a good job with what he's given.
Yeah. And Elizabeth Debicki, I thought she did really good too. I mean, I think the whole cast here is like incredible, right? Elizabeth Debicki, I think that she does well at actually playing through her role of being uh, kind of stuck in this situation, and I felt for her for sure in the movie, which is maybe kind of why, like, not feeling much for John David Washington's
Hmm.
character. I was like, interesting. Like, I can see why. I mean, you don't need like Jason Bourne, right? James Bond. You don't really get the inside scoop all the time, right? So that's totally fine. But I definitely felt for her character. I thought she did good.
Yeah, nice. And I will say one scene, Christopher Nolan, constant collaborator, Michael Caine.
Yes, yes,
Oi,
that's right.
mate, I'm giving secrets, mate.
Which, you know what's cool? Um you know that Christopher Nolan is now Sir Christopher Nolan. In
Oh,
2024, he got knighted, and Kenneth Bragan,
Brenna.
Brennan. Oh, whoops. The the main villain is also
Yeah,
knighted, and Michael Caine is also knighted. So this movie has three knights, which is kind of funny. I don't know
yeah,
how common that is. I don't usually know if people are knighted, but it was kind of funny to see that. I didn't know that Christopher Nolan had been knighted.
yeah.
That's cool. Good for
All
him.
right.
Yeah. Which
Yeah, sure. Fuck the monarchy. Fuck them. But yeah, sure. Good for them. Whatever. I don't care.
yeah.
Uh,
Hey, I mean, you know
Oi,
what?
I just like to be Michael Caine, mate. I'm eating fucking fancy food, mate. Oi, I'm Michael
Well,
Caine.
and in that scene, though, he tells the waiter or whatever, is like, I presume you mean Sir Michael or whatever. And
Oh,
so that's what made me think of,
oh, that's like a meta joke.
yeah, I think so, right? I mean,
All right. Yeah, I like Michael Caine. Now I kind of am like annoyed. I'm like, fucking sir, fuck you. I'm just immediately like, no, fuck you. The
yeah.
hoity-toity British. Oh, sir, you're gonna get knighted by the Queen. Fucking Queen. Go
Well,
around the world, kill millions of people, steal their food. Good for you, Queen and King. It's your pedophile family. Anyway,
yeah, America has nothing like that.
that's a fair point. Fair point. I look at our president and all of his pedophile friends. Yeah,
Uh,
fair point. Fair point.
oh,
But
speaking of which, you see the Melania movie?
yeah, you're just talking about Brett Ratner, famous chill guy, Brett Ratner. Yeah, Melania movie. No, I did not see it. Not gonna rush out to theaters to see the state propaganda,
yeah,
the Israeli state propaganda. No, thank you.
yeah. Um, I also am not seeing that. Anyways, back to Tenet.
Anyway, good, good for them. They're knighted by their country. Good for them. Congratulations.
I thought it was funny to see three. I knew that Michael Caine was knighted,
But
and then
also,
there was that little
what does
joke.
it mean to get knighted?
I don't know.
Anyone can just get knighted,
Yeah, whatever. You do
just for
something cool. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
I
I feel
think,
like back in the day to get knighted, you had to like kill a bunch of barbarians or something. Now it's like, oh, make a couple movies that make some money, and all of a sudden you're a knight.
yeah, I think Christopher Nolan, I think it said he's knighted for his excellence in like filmmaking or progress in filmmaking or whatever. I was
Yeah, I
like,
know. In the
yeah, so
arts, right?
yeah, whatever.
Contributions to the arts. I
Right,
get
right,
it.
right.
Is there a title like, or is it? They're not knights.
They're Knights of Honor, I think it might be called.
Uh,
Something. I
all
don't
right,
know.
sure. I just feel like it's a little like you think of a knight, you don't think of a guy in a suit being like, let's shoot it on film.
Yeah.
You think of a guy, defending a princess in a tower with a
Yeah.
sword and like chopping people's heads off.
It is funny to see like Sir when you're looking at the like IMDb
Wikipedia.
trivia for
There you
this
go.
movie, everything says Sir Christopher Nolan now.
Oh,
And
interesting.
that's why I was like, what the is this real? And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's
There,
like,
there's something in my disposition where immediately when someone is like, you need to like put this like
yeah, title.
hoity-toity title before my name, I'm immediately like, nah, fuck you. That's just
Yeah.
how I am. I'm like, no, you're just a person.
Yeah.
You're not, stop acting like you're better than everyone else. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's an American thing, if it's a Boston thing. There's the Bill Simmons, they talk about the Boston guy. On this podcast. They'll make the joke about Boston guy be like, oh, you think you're better than me? You think you're better than me? And I'm like, that's how I feel when someone is like, sir. I'm like, oh, you think you're
Yeah.
better than me? Because you're a sir? Go fuck yourself, kid. It's kind of how
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel.
I get that. My school, we don't even do Mr., Mrs., whatever. It's just first name. So yeah.
Hippy dippy bullshit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm just like the other side. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
fuck you too. Everyone but me is wrong.
That's
That's my.
right. That's right. I get it, dude. I get
I
it.
get it. No, good for them. I'm just
No, no.
being
They
a
gotta
prick.
call me sir at school now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get knighted.
Oh, but or remember the video of that guy at the bagel shop, the really short guy, and he gets really mad.
Yeah.
You're not God. You're not my father.
I do know what you're that's a good one.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
a great
that's a
video.
good one.
I love
Um
that video. Poor guy. He probably has a tough life, and he just reached the end of his rope and just crashed out
oh
for
man.
no reason. Oh man. I mean, really poor people
if
that were on the wrong end of his crash out, but you got to
if
get pushed to pretty extremes to. Oh man.
if you guys don't know that video, you gotta pause real quick and go look up. I don't even know the keyword.
I
Short
don't
guy
know.
subway
Short.
crash out.
Yeah, it's like a bagel
Oh,
shop or
bagel
something.
shop.
He
Yeah,
wants a bagel for sure.
yeah. You'll find it. You'll
Yeah.
find it.
And that is, hey, we are talking about heightism. That's a result of heightism. That guy has been probably bullied his entire life, and then just the wrong thing set him off, and he just probably took it out on the wrong person,
Yeah,
and just went crazy. So respect to that guy in some way. Also, he was being an asshole, but also I have empathy. But also hilarious clip.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
complicated feelings about this bagel shop clip.
yeah.
Kind of reveals a lot about humanity. He's a complicated character, more complicated than protagonist in Tenet.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Um. Also, real quick, going back to Tenet. Um.
What do you mean? We can't just talk about the bagel shop video? That's what we're covering next week. Favorite viral videos.
That'd be hilarious. Um. I'm gonna walk backwards in time here and go back to when we were talking about Tenet
Hmm.
about an hour ago, and I want to highlight the opening scene, the opening sequence, pretty much from the
Yeah.
we get the perspective of the like terrorist entering the opera house, and then we get all the way from that all the way until the boat scene with the explanation stuff and
Hmm.
telling him to use the code phrase tenant and everything. And pretty much that whole sequence, I was so fucking in. I was like, this is aw- I
Yeah.
cannot wait to watch the next 2 hours of this movie.
Yeah.
Little did I know I'd need to grab a notebook to try to do some like I did not expect to have to try to take so many notes in this movie to understand what was going on. I gave up.
Yeah.
I understand that I don't have to understand what was
Yeah.
going on in this movie. But that first, anyways, that like 10 minutes there or 15 minutes or whatever it was so cool. You get the was it staged? The terrorist?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I guess it's a staged like fake terrorist attack to get the guy.
Right, right,
Or,
right.
yeah.
And so you've got the staged attack. You've got the real police going in. You've got these guys pretending to be police. They were CIA, right? He was CIA
Yes.
before. Is he
Yes.
still CIA? I don't. Doesn't matter.
I think he's Tenet. I don't know.
um, but yeah, and they're going in as fake police to go in on this raid to go get this guy. And super cool. And then at the end, also, the police were going to blow up the place. Did you catch that? I think
No.
the police were putting bombs under the bleachers or
Was
under
that
the
the
seats. And then the protagonist had to go and he grabbed the bomb and threw it outside or something. But and that's when
hmm.
he had the reverse bullet was like right next to his face.
Yes.
And
Right.
and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, so the police were gonna they staged I guess it wasn't the police that staged it. I guess it was the CIA that staged it. But I,
Yeah.
I was confused on why they were going to blow it up. I guess to destroy evidence of the staging of it or something. But
I have no idea. I maybe it was a CIA like false flag attack and he wasn't like known, like he didn't know about it.
right,
And they were just gonna, because I would imagine the CIA would do that. They'd be like, hey, we're gonna make a few $1 billion on this oil. Let's just kill these people. And be like, all right,
yeah,
yeah, with the CIA, that's what we do. So maybe that's what it was. I'm gonna be honest, that scene, I was like, I don't know who's who. You're putting some
Yeah.
logo on your thing. Apparently, we're in like Ukraine. There, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But also,
that scene was honestly scene was confusing enough to me, and there wasn't even time travel yet. Besides that bullet.
but that person that shot the bullet, I was that person protagonist to start this whole thing because he's dressed
I don't know.
exactly like protagonist in the reversed sequence at the plane.
Hmm.
And at the end of the movie, we end up with protagonist in the back of the car and kills um
Yeah,
the
Indian
lady.
arms dealer lady.
Yeah, and he's protecting Elizabeth Debicki with that phone. She just calls him whatever, right, and tells him the time and date. But the fact that that person was dressed and right away when that happened, when we had like that reverse shot and everything, I was like, we don't get to see any features on this person, right? They've got the mask, they got the goggle. You cannot see anything on this person, right? And they missed, right? So I'm like, was that actually protagonist to start the whole thing, right? Because he has to
Right.
protagonist has had to know
It
about
doesn't. Yeah.
bullets.
Yeah, probably. It probably is. And then it also makes no sense because what happens the first time through that, but it's like, yeah, it
Right.
makes no sense.
That's what I'm like. I don't
And then also
understand.
the in that Robert Pattinson was in that scene because
Right.
his backpack has the little keychain on it. So he's that guy. Yeah. But
Oh
I don't know if
shit.
he's the guy with the sniper. He might maybe the protagonist is like has a sniper. But yes, Robert Pattinson is in that first scene.
Well, I don't think it wasn't a sniper bullet, right? I think it was the guy was like right behind him.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, then that was Robert Pattinson. Probably.
Damn.
If he
That
was the yeah.
so oh man. Yeah, so I'm even more confused, but that's
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie. Yeah. If oh man. All right. Uh, I'm very confused by this movie, but
Yeah, that's fair.
I did think that it was visually very cool. Um, I thought that a lot of the stuff that made sense was awesome. Again, like that opening sequence all the way up until the boat. I like that whole thing. I was like so
Yeah.
invested in.
Nice.
Um,
So then by the end, did it just completely lose you, basically?
Actually, honestly, like even the ending fight scene where you have or the like
The
storm where you
battle.
have the yeah you have like both red and blue team.
Temporal pincer movement.
That's right. I was still in it, even though I didn't really understand what was going on. Although I think I was able to follow Robert Pattinson's character, realized what was going on, and like got in the and went back, realigned to go forwards in time again because he was in the blue team to go backwards, and then got the car and went to go. I think I kind of can piece together what they were going
Yeah.
for
And they
there.
kind of explain that at the end. He's like, oh, yeah, I changed my mind halfway or whatever at
Right,
the very last scene with the two of
right. So
them.
I kind of even like I don't really understand everything that's going on, but even that final scene, I liked like some of the shots were cool where like someone was like inside a wall that was blown up, but then it was about to get not blown up or some like because it was already blown up, but she was inside of it in the past, like she was walking. Oh fuck, I don't know. But there was some cool stuff, even if I don't
But
really understand how it
did
makes
you like
sense.
the part when he was in the car that caught fire, but he was inverse, so then he almost got hypothermia?
I didn't understand any of that. No,
Yeah,
I
me neither.
because then they were like, yeah, it's because well, I don't know. They explained it, and I could not care. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't
same. I was like, all
understand.
right.
You don't have to explain it to me. Just keep going.
Yeah, and
Like,
then also like the when you get shot by the inverse bullet, it's like there's radiation that is like
yeah,
spreading, but then apparently if you just go back and forward in time, now you're not inversed, so then you don't have the radiation, I guess.
right. Also, I don't understand why there's radiation.
That's how they do the that's how they invert it. Everything is inverted with there's radiation
Oh,
involved in the inversion process, I feel like. Maybe.
okay,
I
sure.
really actually don't know. That might not be right. Because
That
people
I
go
mean,
in
hey,
well, people
that
go into it though. And they come
yeah,
out. So they're going in and out and they're not like dying.
right.
So maybe there's
Yeah.
not right. Maybe it's just, you know what? I don't know.
Yeah, I think my experience with this movie overall is pretty much like that was cool. I don't know. Like that's
Yeah.
I like a lot of cool stuff. I would love to watch this movie again to try to understand it a little bit more, but I have to stipulate that I'm not doing that anytime soon.
Okay,
Um
could you try to explain why when the bad guy, the bad Russian guy, is gonna kill himself, the entire world will end?
okay, I got this. Um uh
Because I don't know. There's something with he's the one who knows where all the like pieces are. It's like there's like nine things and like
right.
he's trying to get the last one to put them all together and then for some reason that just the world will end or something.
Right. They're
Because
trying to
because
put
he's
them in the time capsule thing.
to like inverse the whole world.
Right. They're trying to inverse the whole world. That's correct. And
Okay, but whatever. I don't. It's fucking stupid. The more we, it's funny. I watched this movie. I'm sorry to cut you off. I like asked you.
no, you're right. I have no idea. I can't explain it
I,
anyways.
I watched the movie and basically I'm like, all right, this makes no sense, but I like it. It's
Yeah.
well shot. Like the music is really cool. I like the actors. There's cool. Like I respect like the ambition of it. And like you spent $200 million to make a movie that makes no fucking sense at all, and you got away with it. Like that's crazy. And like that's
Yeah.
cool. I like that. But now we're trying to talk about it, and like the more we talk about it, I'm like, this is just like stupid bullshit that makes no sense. And I'm getting more annoyed the more we try to talk about it.
Yeah. I agree. I had the same experience right now with you because I'm like, before when I was gonna go into this conversation and be like, yeah, this was cool. This was cool. You know, the plane crash was real. They actually bought a plane and crashed it into a hangar. They didn't use a miniature.
Yeah. You
Like
could tell it looked cool.
yeah, and I had like a lot of like, and I was like, yeah, and then like there's some cool stuff, and then I'm like, but at realizing that to talk about a movie like in depth, you kind of have to explain some parts of the movie. And I actually don't, there's very few parts of this movie, even that opening sequence, that I thought made a lot of sense and I really liked. And I was trying to explain that I liked it. I literally got caught up trying to explain to myself if there was time travel there, and there is. And oh man, so I can
Yeah.
I completely feel you on the getting frustrated by not being able to explain anything.
Yeah.
Is there
So
anyone out there that actually understands this fucking movie?
I think there is. I
Is it
think
possible?
there are videos of like it being explained on YouTube. You could probably watch one. We
Do I
probably could
want
have
to?
better than watching the movie a second time, probably. It'd probably save you 2 hours and 15 minutes. But
Yeah.
that's how I knew about I definitely after watching it the first time, I definitely watched some YouTube videos about it because I was like, what the fuck
Okay.
is that? So but that was years, that was a couple that
Yeah.
was years ago. I will say one thing about the movie. Maybe we're wrapping up, I don't know. But because I don't know that I have that much more to say because I don't most of it doesn't make sense to me. Um but uh I really love the balls, the cojones, the 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 audacity to tease a sequel to this movie.
Yeah.
Like they really wrote
It's
it and he was like, this movie makes no fucking sense at all. And actually, at the end of the movie, we're gonna be like, guess what? That's just the beginning. We got more shit to do. We're gonna be going forward and backward and stuff. And like it basically teases a sequel at the end, right?
yeah.
I feel like it does, unless I'm just wrong, and it's sort of like the sequel is basically them going back to the beginning of the movie and like doing stuff
Oh my God. When he says this is just the beginning, it's because
they have to go back
fuck,
to
never mind.
they have to go back to Ukraine maybe or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
they have to go back in time to
But it
Ukraine.
kind of seems like they're teasing a sequel to me.
Yeah. I
And
also
I'm
thought that. Yeah.
okay. And it's kind of like just funny that it was like a flop.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of insane that this is like COVID, no one wants to go to the movie theater. And it came out in theaters and like made a decent amount of money relative to the time. And not
Yeah.
to mention Oppenheimer, which is a 3 hour long fucking science biopic that should have no wide appeal, like made like a fucking shit ton of money. Like
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, there's something where he like has a hold and he's like, and I think the Odyssey is going to be a massive hit. I'd
Oh
be
yeah.
shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
If anyone can watch it, I think these things are gonna be sold out
oh
watching the
really?
Odyssey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
It seems
they were
like
like selling tickets like like last year.
Jesus Christ, guys, don't make this a gamble to watch a movie. Um,
I'll go find some tickets right now.
but yeah, I think it is interesting that I mean, again, it's one of these like, yeah, you can give him a blank check and he'll make a movie that actually doesn't do traditionally well, and he can still then like 4 years later come out with a movie that just slaps. It literally Barbieheimer happens because of his next movie. Like it, this man can do whatever he wants, and there's pretty much it'll work, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. Although I do think I think all of his movies were made with Warner Brothers until Tenet, and then I think after Tenet, I'm pretty sure Oppenheimer is maybe like Universal or something.
Warner Brothers was like, hey,
Warner Bros. Was like, yeah,
no, we're
yeah,
good.
they exactly. They had to bite the bullet. But honestly, like 300 million worldwide, I'm sure that they probably lost money on this, but also like the because of the pandemic, I feel like that was pretty good for the time. Like
Yeah,
if it wasn't in the pandemic, it probably would have made who knows, maybe twice that.
yeah. This is also a movie where I think people will want to see it a second time, right? Uh and you'll want to see it, I think, like I think you'll like it kind of makes you want to watch it again to try and understand it. At least that's kind
Yeah.
of, oh yeah, I mean, this is your second time, right? And
Yeah,
like,
this is, and that's part of the reason I've been wanting to rewatch it. So when you picked it, I was like, all right, that's awesome.
yeah. And I feel like that obviously doesn't always come out of box office, right? Like some people might go to the movies twice, but not every, especially, you know, midst of COVID, you might go to the movies once. Are you really going to go to the movies twice to see the same movie? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like this movie probably over time has gotten a lot more, people have bought the Blu-ray or people have rented it and stuff like that, in which obviously doesn't make up a ton of money, but I think it's like Christopher Nolan has so much pull that he can make this movie where really this movie doesn't make sense the first time. You really have to watch it again, right? And he's able to do that because of this background that he has, where he's made so many great movies. Whereas, I think a fresh face director probably couldn't do that because the studio would be
No.
like, you want to make something that makes no sense and people are going to have to watch it at least twice, and probably watch YouTube videos about it. I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
and still actually be confused.
Yeah.
Like,
So that's the thing. I kind of just respect the audacity of the movie and the ambition of it. I like the globe-trotting nature of it. I do like the reality of it. Like, for example, the plane actually flying into like not flying, driving into the hangar. Like just the scale of it all, like the look of it, the feel of it is
yeah,
really cool. And just to make such an ambitious thing that we're in Ukraine, then we're in India, we're in Estonia, we're all over the place. There's a joke about Estonian sounding like backward language, which is funny. It's kind of cool I like that when they got the walkie-talkie. He's like, I thought you spoke Estonian. And he's like, it's not Estonian, it's backwards. I was like, that's funny. I like that line. There are so yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of aspects of the movie that I like, but kind of tough when it just makes no sense and it tries to make nonsense make sense.
yeah. I will say, I am discouraged with this being your second time. And I'm like, yeah, I want to watch it again at some point. And now I'm kind of like, wait, hold on.
I mean, it's just that like
Is it going to make any more sense the second
there's
time? Who
I
knows?
think this is what I'll say. Like on your second viewing, it will probably make more sense in that you will be like, "Oh, that character has was there the whole time." And so they went back at some point they went back in time and now there's a second version of them doing this, sort of like Robert Pattinson at the beginning of the
Right.
movie. And so like within the logic of the movie and within the like puzzle box of it all, the pieces will probably fit together better, but it will still be like nonsense because time works a certain way in our the way we understand reality.
Yeah, that
Like
makes
there's still
sense.
the cause and effect of it all there will still be paradoxes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Um, well, I gotta be honest, this movie breaks my brain, and my brain might be broken enough if unless you have anything else specifically to say about it.
No, I'm good. I think I'm all set. I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago, and
That was
apparently
funny.
that was improvised line.
Oh, that's awesome. That was a good
Yeah.
line. That was a good
Yeah,
line.
exactly. I mean, that's why I started the episode with it. But there's like an interview with John David Washington, and he's talking about like how Christopher Nolan was like they needed like a line at the beginning of the beginning of that fight scene, and then he came up with that.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
Um,
a lot of cool action scenes too.
yeah.
That fight in the kitchen was cool.
Oh, that fight was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the craft is very nice. But I might the soundtrack is pretty sick. I before I watch it a third time, I'd probably just listen to the soundtrack.
Also, the idea of that Freeport security thing,
Yeah,
like the
with the art.
vaults in the vaults like in the airport is like that's a cool idea. Like that makes this feels every piece of this movie, other than the time travel stuff, does feel like a very great spy movie. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're also in Oslo,
Yeah.
that part. Yeah. That is a very cool scene too. What was the, thought I was gonna say something else and now I've forgotten. But that's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I are you good to give ratings? I can give my rating if yeah. All right. I'm giving this movie 3 stars. I'm confused as hell. I would like to understand it a little bit more. For now, there's a lot of cool stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I don't get. So 3 stars.
I also gave it 3 stars. I yeah, basically the exact same thing. If it had Chim Chim, maybe 3.5.
Out of curiosity, what did you change your rating from the first time? Was it different the first time you watched it?
No, I gave it 3 stars the first time as well.
Oh yikes! This is not looking promising for me to
Yeah.
rewatch it.
Yeah. Like it's pretty long.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's not it's definitely a lower tier Nolan.
yeah.
For sure.
Well, the rating recap here. It has a lower letterbox score than Speed Racer. I just want to point that out. It has a 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It's got a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 70% critic score, and 76% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, giving it a 7.2 out of 10 average. So, ironically, that's the only one that's higher is Letterbox. But I did think that was funny that we were talking a little about kind of the generational stuff too, with like who's using Letterbox today. And anyways, so yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. I guess that's that. Is it time to pick the category for next episode?
It's time to pick the category for next
Cool.
episode.
Yeah. I will say I think we did a good job picking unique, crazy uses of large budgets
Yes.
with big ambition and they worked to varying degrees. So I feel like we
Yeah,
picked pretty cool movies for our over $100 million topic.
I agree. And in a way, like both these movies are very unique where a lot of $100 million budgets are like, Marvel movies and just things that, yeah, you kind of what it is. And both these movies are just so ambitious in trying to do something very different. Um, and they kind of work maybe.
Not really. I mean, you gave
Yeah.
2 stars and 3 stars. It's not the
Yeah,
best, not the
they're
greatest success.
they're fine. They're long. They're both long. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Also, I will say they're both. I mean, Speed Racer is a remake, but it's just like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a reimagining of a series, and then Tenet is it's completely original. So we didn't really want to pick like sequels or anything. In theory,
Right.
we could have done Dune Part 1 and Part 2, I think, which would have been cool. But we'll probably do that when Dune 3 comes out.
Yeah. Cool.
Dune. I don't know what I'm doing while I wait for Dune. If you're on
Um,
YouTube, I'm picking the cup. I got my eyes closed. The cup is here. Picking a topic.
while Shane picks, don't forget next week. Oh, actually, we haven't announced this yet. Next week, before our next main episode, we've got Valentine's Day. We're gonna be doing. Oh gosh, Shane just picked it. We'll see. We're gonna be doing Valentine's Day movies, which can mean all sorts of things. So tune in next week to see our top 5 Valentine's Day picks. They're not all rom coms. Don't come expecting every rom com in the world. But yeah, so that's next week. The week
Yeah.
after, Shane, what are we doing?
The topic for our episode in 2 weeks, our next full episode, is Marvel. So that's our topic next. We'll be covering more large budget movies with probably less ambition and uniqueness. But I will say
Oh
I
wow.
think you put this in there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably.
But it says Marvel. It does not say MCU.
Yeah, no,
So we're allowed any movie based on a Marvel comic book.
absolutely. You could do more Venom stuff. You could do
Oh, okay. That
um
is really good.
right Sam Raimi Spider-Man. You could do classic animated stuff. You can do um the X-Men series. There's all the X-Men movies. I might do an X-Men movie. Um there's lots of stuff to do. So
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
That opens it up a lot more. When I saw Marvel, I was very concerned that it was just MCU, and I was like, I guess I just have to pick Black Panther. Like, I don't know what to pick. I don't know what to do. But I could still pick Black Panther. It's still an
Yeah,
option.
great
But
movie.
there's a lot of other options for Marvel. So
Yeah.
I've got some ideas in my head. Do you want to announce it next episode? Like
Yeah,
we've
maybe
been
we'll announce it during the Valentine's Day episode.
cool.
I don't know what I'm going to do off the top of my head, but I mean, I watched the Roger Corman Fantastic Four not too long ago. I would not recommend it. We're not going to do that, but
Don't pick
I'm
that one.
saying there was a range of things,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot of MCU, not all the new stuff, but everything up until the Endgame stuff, and I don't imagine I'm going to pick MCU just because uh, there's so much. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're not really standalone, so they don't work as well for like our format of
Yeah,
our episodes. But that's why I felt like Black Panther would be a potential good pick because it is more standalone.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Hey,
you
yeah,
can just like you could just watch Black Panther alone and you wouldn't really like
absolutely.
you can just that's what I did.
Yeah,
I basically watched like the first Avengers movie and then I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I was like, all right, I'll watch Black Panther. So anyway, and I
yeah.
enjoyed it. So
I probably will lean into an X. Spoiler: I might lean into one of the X Men movies because those are kind of embedded in my childhood in a way where the MCU was maybe not well, whatever. Yeah, we'll see.
I have a little bit of an idea of what I might go for, but I don't want to say it because
All right.
I don't want to tease it and then potentially go a different direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
All
will
right.
say X-Men stuff I haven't really seen any of that stuff like original X-Men X2 all whatever.
Well, Shane, if
Uh
I pick Last Stand, you have to watch all three. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. That's all right. I'll watch 3 Bryan Singer movies. That guy's totally normal, right? Don't look at his Wikipedia. You
awkward.
can't if you complain about Chim Chim, you can't pick a Bryan Singer movie.
All right, that's valid.
No, you can. I don't care. I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck. Whatever.
we'll
There's
see. We'll
a
see.
lot of people worked on the movie besides Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's that. Next week we got Valentine's Day. Then we got Marvel. Follow us on Letterboxd. Mind your movies, all one word. You can follow also linked in the bio there. You can follow both of our personal accounts. And then also we're on YouTube. We in Mind Your Movies podcast. We're on the podcast apps, Apple and Amazon and Spotify and all that good stuff. Give us a like, give us a 5 star if you're on the podcast apps. We would really appreciate it. Uh, and yeah, thank you for watching and listening. We appreciate you guys and gals and people watching and listening and spending your time listening to us babble about 2 movies that make almost no sense at all. So yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. Don't forget to mind your movies.